On. Well, one reason maybe he should wait is he needs 3 goals to get in, but that reason's blown to bits when you realize Mario coming off his 10th career 4-goal game, and he has 38 career hat tricks, so he will go for it at Buffalo. First period after a Sabre clear, watch Brad Bay in the spot shadow. Serious hustle to beat Kevin Hatcher to the puck. No icing. Gets kicked out to Rob Ray. Ray, it's all good. His 7th of the year, 1-zip Sabres. Third period, Sabres protecting a 2-1 lead. Pins with the rush, big-time rush. But Dominic Hasek stacks the pads, sticks up the glove, and robs Mario Lemieux. Even Mario says that was pretty impressive. One of 21 saves. Take another look. Hasek steals the game-tying goal. I love you, man. Check it out. Even the referee says, "Did you get it? Did you? Let me see." He got it. Sabres win it 3-1. As for the Sabres penchant for shorthanded goals, Mike Pekka joked, "That's the game plan. Take penalties." Get this, over 9 games, the Sabres have 7 shorthanded goals. Over that same span, they only have 2 goals with a man advantage. Philly coming off a 55-shot night. Oh, big hits in this game. Anson Carter rocks Desjardins Flyers Capitals first period. Rob Brindamore playing in his franchise record 488 game. Brindamore with the steal. He put the wrister past Jim Carey, his 17th this year. Second period, caps down 2-love. Peter Bondra slap shot. Saved by Ron Hextall. Bondra gets his own rebound and blasted in for the score. 218th career goal, second all-time in Capitals history. After that, though, Hextall became a wall. Going to get the save, and Michael Pavanka knocks it away. Then he tells Joe Ricci, "It's my world. You're just a squirrel trying to get that nut." Hextall stopped 29 of 30 shots. Flyers win at 2-1. First, it was Philly's home winning streak. Now they're being politically correct. Equality. 12 straight on the road. Coach Terry Murray wistfully says, "You play a more relaxed game on the road." Franchise record for road games in a row, 16 straight in the 79-80 season.
The Cal Bears basketball team has been one big grab.
Leading the NHL with 6 shutouts and 24 wins. So with a sprained right thumb, Wada Mensah, who's admitted he's come back too soon before from injuries, swears, quote, "I would not take a chance to play if I believed I could hurt myself worse." Obviously, he doesn't think he can. He's in. Hosting L.A. Stephane Passe, first game in Denver since being traded by the Avalanche. Not a happy return. First period, great Lance teamwork. Pucks end up on the stick of Rene Corbet, who finds Scott Young streaking in. He got it. Scores his 13th goal of the year. He added his 14th later. Lance up 2-0. Still in the first, Wah not missing a beat. Yannick Perreault slap shot, stop, covered by Wah. He had 29 saves. Avalanche win it 6-3. You did my Diggity earlier.
Quid pro quo.
All right, cool. Wah's 335th career win ties him with Gump Worsley for 8th place on the all-time list. Lance 7-2 in their last 9 games. Former goalie Stephane Passe faced 44 shots. He stopped just 38. That was very rude of him to treat him like that. Anaheim's at Dallas. Fans in Dallas welcoming back Neil Broughton, who was a healthy scratch. First period, no score. Jamie Lagenbrunner, instead of saying, "Yo, ball," he says, "Yo, puck." Deflects the pass to Joe Nieuwendyk, who rips it. Nieuwendyk 16th, Stars up 1-love after 1. Andy Moog was the truth. Second period, Teemu Selanne with the wrister on the rush. Moog says, "How you gonna try and play me, kid? Like that?" Teammates say, "Andy, dude, how about getting your 20th win this year?" More Moog. Ducks applying the pressure. Paul Kariya shoots wide, gets it back, denied in front by Andy Moog. One of 25 saves. Stars win it 3-1. Stars run their winning streak to 4 games. Moog's 346th career win. He's 6th on the all-time list. Of course, he's the active leader because we told you Waz close behind him. I didn't have to tell you any of that because I figure you knew. Red Wings trying to end a 5-game homeless win streak, hosting Phoenix. Second period, Wings trail. Tomas Sandstrom with the blast. Nikolai Khabibulin, the save. Still second. Keith Tkachuk skates past 2, beats Mike Vernon glove side, his 31st. Hey, guys, Bob Rouse, Jeremy Roenick, body blow, everybody's getting in it. Bad boys, what you gonna do? They get separated for a second. Rouse and Roenick going at it again. 35 penalty minutes handed out. Khabibulin, though, not rattled by the Roughnecks. Darren McCarty, don't even think about it. Khabibulin pitches his second shutout in 4 days. Coyotes win at 3-love. In the last 3 games, Khabibulin has stopped 107 of the 111 shots he's faced. Don't worry about him. He says, quote, "I like to face a lot of shots," end quote. He faced them and turned in his 4th career shutout. Still up? Ruben exclaims, "Thank you, Jamal." Oilers looking to go 2 games over 500 for the first time since October, hosting San Jose. Eddie Belfour still sporting his Blackhawks helmet. The Sharks helmet won't be ready for a month. Huge hits in the game. Andrei Kovalenko checks Ron Suter. Ilya Afredi returns the favor. Dean McArmond gets leveled by Doug Bodger. But this was the best shot of the night. Doty Wood, one-punch knockout. Down goes Mike Greer. Down goes Mike Greer. Second period tied at 1, 3-on-2 break. Doug Waite, he's not heavy, he's my brother. To Andre Kovalenko, who beats Belfour, 2-1 Oilers. Third period, Sharks pressing. Victor Kozlov puts on the great move, but Curtis Joseph says no. 34 saves for Cujo. Oilers win at 3-1. Edmonton has won 3 in a row and 7 of their last 11 games. Elsewhere, Blues clipped the Leafs 4-0. Since Mike Keenan's been fired, Brett Hull has scored 15 goals in 18 games. He ran his consecutive scoring streak to 10 games on this night. He only scored 12 goals in 32 games under Keenan. You draw your own conclusions. What? No Devils Senators highlights? We was robbed. Two sides of a 1-1 tie. Devils center Bobby Holick said, "I'm not happy with the point. We should have won." Ottawa coach Jacques Martin said, "I think our players are starting to believe they can make the playoffs." You want the truth about Riddick Bowe?
Then just 18 years old, was a rookie with the Boston Bruins. On Thursday night, he was on the threshold of becoming Boston's all-time leading scorer. Bourque needing 1 point to get to 1,339 and tie him with Johnny Busick. Standing in Bourque's way, the Florida Panthers, trying to keep him pointless. Would this be the night? The Panthers early on. Ray Shepard feeding Radek Dvorak in front as he jams it past Rob Tallis. Dvorak's 13th goal, 1-0 Panthers. It's 3-0 Florida in the third. Bruins 2-on-1. Rob DeMaio to Bourque, backhander past John Van Beesbrook. And that was history in the making right there. 1,339 points, but that man, the Beezer, was the hero the rest of the way. Bourque with a blast from the point, the save by Van Beesbrook. The puck still, they keep it in. Bourque again, oh, slap me. And again, the save by Van Beesbrook. The Panthers hold on to win it 3-1. Bourque does tie the Bees record, 1,339 points, but his team loses the game. The Panthers win it despite being outshot 38-16. Their fewest attempts of the season. The Beezer has won 4 straight games. A whale sighting in Los Angeles. Hartford visiting the Kings. Look out, Aki Berg slamming Adam Burt into the boards, and that can't be good for you. Berg receiving a 2-minute penalty for high sticking. First period. Enough blood, no score. Ray Ferraro. Backhand shot at Sean Burke. Gets the rebound and then scores. Now watch the replay. Using the body to gain possession, and then the 17th goal of the year for Ferraro. Whalers down 4-2 in the third. Paul Ranheim, short-handed, beats Byron Defoe. Whalers cut the lead to 1. A minute later, Rob Blake from the point. The rebound, Vladimir Siplikov likes the light. His second of the game, and the Kings do win it by a final of 5-3. Barry Potomsky lit the light for L.A., snapping a 16-game scoring drought. For Hartford, it's the 23rd time in their last 28 games that they've given up the first goal of the game. Rich?
The Washington State Cougars had a special interest in seeing more.
Mike Keenan is gone. Joel Quenneville has taken over, and St. Louis has won 5 of their last 6 games. Brett Hull, he has come alive out of the Keenan doghouse finally. He's got 15 goals in 18 games since that coaching change was made. The Blues trying to move up and into second place in the Central, needing a win against Ottawa. Alexei Yashin takes the puck. Watch this move. Slams on the brakes, then goes backhand to beat John Casey. 1-0 Senators. Got to look at this one again. Here's Yashin. Oh, see you later. Alexei Yashin. He's a bad man. Still 1-0. Pierre Turgeon racing in and goes top shelf to beat Damian Rhodes. 1-1. We're tied. To the third. It's 3-2 Blues. Turgeon over to Jeff Portnoy. Centering pass, Brett Hull shoots and scores. And it's a 5-2 final as Hull extends his consecutive point streak to 11 games, a goal and 2 assists for him. The Blues move past Detroit into second place. Elsewhere, Jyrki Lumme scored the game winner for Vancouver as the Canucks edged the Islanders 2-1, 34 saves by Kirk McLean in that one. The Sharks beat the Flames 6-3 as the Sharks snapped their 3-game slide. Ed Belfour made 30 saves to pick up his first win since coming over from Chicago. Andrei Nazarov had 4 points in this game. For him, that is a career high. Elsewhere, Montreal wins for the first time in 9 tries in Tampa as they finally beat the Ning. And it was 4-1. Martin Rusinski with a pair of goals there. When SportsCenter continues, next season, the Raiders went down early in the season with an injury. It figured that the Buffalo Sabres would themselves all be down and out. But behind the stellar play of goalie Dominik Hasek, the Sabres are only 2 points behind division-leading Pittsburgh in the Northeast Division. Friday night, the Sabres hosted one of the other surprises in the league this season, the first-place Dallas Stars. The Stars unbeaten in the last 5, and Dominik knows that a goalie's best friend is his post. Brent Gilchrist bangs it off the iron. They were scoreless in the second period. Derek Plant gets the rebound, shoots and scores 1-0 Buffalo. Back to the Dominator, Dominik Hasek, Sergei Zubov, and the iron is unkind. 2-1 Sabres in the third. It's Todd Harvey. Is there a magnet in the puck or what? Still 2-1. 5 minutes left. Matthew Barnaby goes backhand to beat Artur Zerbe. It's 3-1 Sabres. But Barnaby would pay for it right there as Todd Harvey crunches him with the elbow in the final seconds. Rob Ray, Guy Carbonneau exchanging some unpleasantries. Barnaby takes the shot in the mouth, skates off, says, take a look at the scoreboard. We can clap because we won the game 3-1. The win moves Buffalo into a tie with Pittsburgh atop the Northeast Division. Matthew Barnaby with a goal and an assist, not to mention that late elbow in the face from Todd Harvey. Said Barnaby of that last-second hit, and we're quoting now, that kind of stuff isn't tolerable. It's just no class. Stu?
Tunis' his nickname, Hogan's
game of his NHL career. He needed only 1 point to reach 200. When Korea and Teemu Selanne are turning on the red light, they put something mighty into those mighty Ducks. Anaheim hosting a Whaler team getting harpooned regularly on the road. The Whale 1-10 in their last 11 road games. Ducks on the rush. Teemu Selanne deflects a pass to Paul Korea. Ooh, shoots and scores. His 21st goal. There's 200 NHL points, 1-0 Ducks. Later, it's 2-0 Korea. Nice touch to Selanne, deflected, and it's 3-0 on Selanne's 29th. Whalers down 4-1. Jeff O'Neill shoots and scores. His first career hat trick. Whalers down 4-2. 5 minutes left. Ducks up 5-3. Steve Rushin getting into the act as he whacks one past Jason Muzzatti. And the Ducks win it 6-3. Sean Pronger scored twice. Teemu Selanne a goal and 3 assists. Korea a goal and 2 assists. Guy Hebert with 38 saves. Jeff O'Neill did have the hat trick for the Whale, but it was not enough. Oilers on a 3-game winning streak hosting the Islanders. Curtis Joseph in the middle of everything. First period, no score. Marty McGinnis skates in. Arister, glove save and a beauty. Second period, Todd Bertuzzi deflecting the puck. Cujo, diving save, loses the stick. Bertuzzi couldn't put it in all follow-up. Still in the second, Ziggy Palffy on Cujo. Another save. Third period, Bertuzzi, look out. Leveled by Brian Marchment and not happy about it at all. Still in the third, Todd Marchant on the breakaway. The save by Tommy Salo. 1-0 Oilers. It remains Cujo. Claude Lapointe, slapper, deflects over the net, and Cujo would glove it as he was the man of the hour. 1-0 is the final. Curtis Joseph posting his 6th shutout of the season. That's tied with Patrick Waugh for the overall league lead. Cujo has allowed only 3 goals in his last 4 games. Dean McCammon with a lone goal in this game as the Oilers win their 4th straight. Leafs out to snap a 3-game losing streak in New Jersey. Remember the movie, The Color Purple? It's also the color under the eye of Kirk Muller, the former Devil. Back for a visit. First period, no score. Bobby Holik says, welcome back, buddy. Still in the first, no score. Zadanek Nedved shot deflected by Muller. Watch the puck. Off of the leg of Martin Brodeur. 1-0 Maple Leafs. Tied at 2 in the second. Brian Ralston wins the race to the puck. Beats Dennis Peterson. One-timer past Marcel Cousineau. 3-2 Devils. Mike Murphy trying to find some answers. Toronto down 3-2. Todd Warner comes up with the puck. Wrists it past Brodeur. We're tied at 3. Later in the third, the Devils. Scott Niedermayer with a blast. Glove save and a beauty by Cousineau. And this one ends in a 3-3 tie. Marcel Cousineau, 35 saves for Toronto as the Leafs come back to get the tie on Todd Warner's goal in the third. It was Toronto's first tie of the season. In fact, their first in some 65 games, going all the way back to last season. Brian Ralston with 2 assists for the Devils. Stu?
Tennis quarterfinals of the Pan Pacific Open in goes. First period, scoreless. Ian Morin's shot deflects off a defender right to Lemieux. That's just too easy for Mario. His 35th of the year, 598th of his career. Later in the first, tied at 1. Jim Johnson slashing at Mario. Jim, bruh, you got to come harder than that. Number 36 of the year, 599 of the career. Would this be 600? No. His backhander went wide. In the third, pins up 4-1. Would this be 600? Nikolai Habibulin says, not here, not now. One of 29 saves. Mario will have to wait maybe until Tuesday. Pens win at 4-1. Lemieux now 1 goal shy of 600. But the way he was going early, you might have thought he would have finished with 602. Still, Lemieux had no idea he was also 1 goal shy of tying Wayne Gretzky's record of 600 goals in 718 games. Said Mario, quote, "I guess I'll have to finish second to him in the record books again." The 4 players in the 600-600 club, Gretzky, Howe, Esposito, and Dion, and Gardner, close, 2 assists away. Mario, closer, 1 goal away. And one more guy about to join the club, Yari Curry, who has 591 goals and 771 assists. Speaking of records, Bees at Tampa Bay. Ray Bourque needed 1 point to pass John Busick as the Bruins scoring leader. 5.5 minutes into the first shot is blocked, his second shot is not. There it is, his 10th goal of the year, 1,340 points for his career, 1-0 Boston. Second period, watch Bourque in the spot shadow. Doesn't even see Sean Burr. Burr rocks his world. Bourque bloodied but unbowed. He was shaken up, but he would be okay. Bruins get some huge goaltending. Igor Ulanov with the blast, but Rob Tyler says, "It's my world. You're just a squirrel trying to get a nut." 25 saves. Bourque says, "Thanks for the props." Bruins win at 3-0. So Bourque moves up to 1,342 career points after the game. Added the consummate team player, quote, "Whenever you break a record, a win to go along with it makes it a lot more enjoyable," end quote. Busick, whose record he broke and who is now the director of alumni community relations, said, quote, "It couldn't have been broken by a better person." As far as the list of scoring all time for NHL defensemen, Bourque now second behind Paul Coffey. Coffey, Bourque, and Murphy are the only active players on this list. Bourque, the only NHL player ever to be named first or second team All-Star every season he's played.
Well, to one of our colleagues, aloha may mean goodbye, but it sometimes means Jersey had held teams to 3 goals or less in 9 straight games. Off to Montreal. Second period, 2-1 Devils. Dave Andrechuk, backhander, and gets the loose puck past Jocelyn Thibault, his second of the night, number 495 on his career. Martin Brodeur not playing. Mike Dunham's in there and struggling. Turner Stevenson almost whiffs. We'll call it a changeup. 3-2 Devils. Closing seconds of the second. Shane Corson wraps around, finds Brian Savage. Oh, yeah! Dunham gave up 3 goals on 13 shots through 2. Third period, Stefan Richer fires a shot. It goes off of Brian Ralston's stick and past Dunham. Richer's 15th, 4-3 Canadiens. Devils answer. Scott Niedermayer alive. Stephen Sullivan, the rookie, breaking in his 4th. We go into overtime. Under a minute to go. Mark Recchi is alone, but Dunham equal to the challenge, and the game ends in a 4-4 tie. Dunham 23 saves. Thibault had 46 saves. The Devils tie for their 3rd straight game, and for the 5th time in their last 10, they outshot the Habs 50-27. Rangers and Flyers. Eric Caron, Scott Daniels. We can dance if we want to. Aaron Langdon, Dan Kordick. We can fight if we want to. 52 penalty minutes through the first 2 periods. Second, 1-0 Rangers. Eric Desjardins off of Sean Podine's skate. His 11th, tied at 1. See the replay so that you see that I told you the truth. Rangers down 2-1 on the power play. Nicholas Sundstrom drop pass. Brian Leetch drop pass. Alexander Kaprizov. Goal. Right there. Beats Hextall is 6-2 tie. Third period, same score. Adam Graves finds Mess. Mess finds the net. Hextall is not sharp. Mess's 28th goal. Rangers win it 4-2. Mike Richter grew up near Philadelphia, came up with 39 saves. He was the difference, said Terry Murray. The Blue Shirts now 6 points behind the first-place Flyers in the Atlantic. Hextall, only 13 saves, and he called all 4 Ranger goals stoppable shots.
Colorado with San Jose, recently acquired from the Blackhawks Ed Belfour, yet to have his mask repainted, but he got help from the home iron.
Yeah, no question.
That's the sound of the puck hitting the post. More kind iron. Rene Corbet breaks in, lift the puck over Belfour, but it hit the crossbar. But take another look. Corbet lands on Belfour's right leg. Belfour left the game in the second with a strained medial collateral ligament in his right knee. Tied at 1 in the third. Owen Nolan tries to beat Patrick Waugh 3 times. Finally, Jeff Friesen freezes Waugh, jams it past his 15th. Sharks win at 2-1. Kelly Rudy, 12 shots, 12 saves in relief of Belfour. The Sharks, prior to this one, had not beaten the Avalanche franchise in San Jose in 5 years, had been outscored by Colorado 10-1 in 2 games this year, and were 0-11-1 against Patrick Waugh. It all changed. Sharks coach Al Sims stated, "It wasn't a lucky win. We battled the whole game." Washington and Florida, tough start for Robert Svela. He took a puck to the face in warm-ups, but he's a real man. He got stitched up, he played. More bad news for the Panthers. Peter Bondra knees Ray Shepard. Bondra got a 5-minute penalty. Shepard out with a sprained knee, 4 to 5 weeks. Second period, 1-zip Caps. John Van Beesbrook collides with Mike Eagles, leaving an empty net for Anson Carter. Carter's first NHL goal, but Doug McLean is incensed. Now, Reese, what does he say here? Bull what? Was that bullseye or
Wash his mouth
bullhorn?
out with soap.
I don't know what that was. Shocked at the call. Payback maybe? Johan Garpenlov slashed Joe, as you know, just above the knee. Garpenlov got a 5-minute penalty. Junot helped off. Caps win at 3-1. Both second leading scorers for both teams, Shepard and Junot, helped off after blows that resulted in major penalties. Panthers coach Doug McLean, the guy who was talking about bullhorns or something, incensed. Quote, "It's a joke. We will send the tape to the league." 2 4-game streaks ended. Washington's losing and Florida's winning.
Perhaps he was using the King's English. More basketball on the way. Is that you, Cato? Robert Reichel and German Titoff on the Calgary power play. And that is Gavey getting it done. One of 2 power play goals in the game for him. Trevor Kidd, meanwhile, tough all night between the pipes. Martin Gillin, I think not. 31 saves for Kidd, his 9th career shutout. Flames win it 3-zip. It's his 3rd shutout of this season, and he has 3 against Vancouver in his career. Flames 2 for 3 on the power play. Gavey with those 2 goals. Red Wings and Blues, Grant Fuhr, Bob Kersey, just really good friends.
How do you know?
And he does this
I assume.
Okay.
Mike Vernon's warm-up a little less intimate, but somehow it's still effective. Red Wings up 2-0. Vernon preserving that lead. I shouldn't pick on a hockey guy. Great save, and then he denies Brett Hull. 25 saves for Bernie. Blues on the power play, and Brendan Shanahan says, "I got your power play right there." Short-handed goalie had 2 on the night, 28 on the season. Detroit up 3-1. And then Fuhr makes a save, and he was not able to stretch out and get that when Slava Kozlov pokes it by him. 16 goals for Kozlov. Not in this game, of course, that's on the season. Red Wings a 4-1 winner. Vernon 16-1-1 with a .183 goals against average lifetime against the Blues. Brett Hull did score his 29th.
Blackhawks Kings don't front with Bob Probert. Knocks Sean O'Donnell's head off. Oh, it's just his helmet. But then he gives him the elbow. Sean, don't mess with Bob. That's Bob Probert. 2 minutes in the box for Probert. Second period, 2-2 game. Tony Amane pass in front of Dennis Savard. Redirects to Ulf Dowling. Ulfie on his second try, his 10th of the year. 3-2 in the third. Kevin Miller the blast. The puck trickles past Byron Defoe, but it hit the post. Defoe freezes it. Later in the third, same score. Kings power play at the other end. Jeff Hackett, huge save in front. Ray Ferraro ticked. Hackett, 26 saves. Blackhawks win it 3-2. Chicago wins for the 6th time in their last 7 trips to L.A. Blackhawks now 11 road wins compared to 8 at home. Elsewhere, Senators and Maple Leafs. Damian Rhodes returned to Maple Leaf Gardens to face his former team and stoned 19 of 20 shots to win his first in Toronto since being traded a year ago. Sean McEachern scored the game winner a minute into the third.
Still to come on the center, it's more hoop for you.
Determined shortly. The Caps' leading scorer is on his way to the league office. At least the videotape of him is. For now, he's been suspended indefinitely. Bad news for a team that has trouble scoring. Worse news because their opponent Sunday night had the hottest goalie in the league, the Dominator. He leads the league in wins. The Sabres break out. Mike Peckett down. Oh, touch pass, Jason Dodd. He beats Jim Carey. Take another look at it again. And who says you can't pass from your belly? Pretty touch.
Jason Dodd.
And it put the Sabres up 1-zip. Stayed that way with 8 minutes left in the third. Kelly Miller finally beats Hossack. His 8th, tied at 1. 5 minutes later, Dale Hunter. Denied by the Dominator. Joe, as you know, denied. Steve Konowalchuk got it. 2-1 Capitals. Late in the third, the Sabres press. Derek Plant behind the net to Gary Galley. Somebody find Michael Grosick. Bang! His 11th 2-2, and guess what? It ended that way. The Caps just 1 win in their last 6. Sabres had the longest homestand in franchise history. 7 games at 4-2-1. And Buffalo is now 1 back in the Northeast Division behind the Pens. The Bruins playing the Rangers. Stevie Kasper and the Bees actually looking for 2 straight wins. Adam Oates, will he be with the Bruins much longer? The pass to Ted Donato, power play goal. Bees up 2-zip. Still first, Kyle McLaren. Oh! He gets hit by Ulf Samuelsson. Had to leave the game. Separated shoulder. Still first period from the faceoff. Gretzky and Trent McCleary square off. Ooh, Wayne, keep the stick down. Little bloody. Everyone's okay. Second period. You can't do that today. a great one. Bees up 3-1. Brian Leach, Messier, rebound goal. Still second. Nicholas Sundstrom. He'll take a shot. Rob Tallis, no, but watch Don Sweeney. Swoo! Saves it as it nears the red line, and the Bees win by a final of 3-2. 2 of 3 did the Bruins go on the power play. Rob Tallis turned aside 28 shots. Mark Messier's point streak now at 8 games.
Last week, Jim Kelly said, I retire. Todd Harvey did, and he must pay for his transgression. The NHL suspended him indefinitely for the elbow he gave Buffalo's Matthew Barnaby on Friday night, meaning Harvey had to sit on his hands Sunday when his team played Detroit. Here we go to that game. Kirk Maltby, boom, into Daryl Sador. Third period, wings up 3-2. Chris Draper jabs a rebound in front. Puck rolls out, but it doesn't cross. Ken Hitchcock says, I guess he didn't say anything. Keeps the Stars alive, stood on 3-2 off a wings turnover. Mike Madonna, the blast, stopped by Osgood, but Joe Nieuwendyk, he's there to follow, his second of the game, tied 3 apiece. Overtime. Thomas Sandstrom going high in the air. Slava Kozlov chases it down, beats Andy Moog. Kozlov's 17th winner at 1:20 of overtime. 4-3 your final in that one. Dallas shot just 12 times in the game to get its 3 goals. Did not take a shot in the overtime, and you can't score if you don't shoot. Red Wings and a 6-game home winless streak, and thought I'd point those 2 things out. The Avalanche, the Ducks, as seen on ESPN. Home team goes down. Avalanche win this thing 5-2. Avalanche win for the 3rd time in the last 4 games. The loss ends the Ducks' 4-game home winning streak. Coming back with still more Sports Center, the 24 hours at Daytona.
Knee Saturday, out 2 to 3 weeks, so he could not goaltend against the team that traded him last week. So we turn to Chris Terreri for the revenge factor. He was traded for Belfour and started between the pipes for the Blackhawks. Terreri back in the tank. In the first period, he was huge. Sharks with some serious pressure. The kick save on Todd Gill, and then on his back, denies Gill again. And then the puck, did I say Gill again or Gilligan? Go! Stones Andre Nazarov as well. Let's take another look. He still does it, even in the replay. That's amazing. On his back, and even with the puck coming at him again, he gets up in time to make the save. Fantastic. We're still tied in the first at 1. Alexei Zhamnov to Ulf Dahlin behind the net. Dahlin also part of that Belfour trade, makes it 2-1 Hawks. He has been a factor since being a Blackhawk. Third period, the Blackhawks up 3-2. Kevin Miller to Eric Daze. Beats Kelly Rudy. 4-2 is your final. Dahlin, 3 goals in 3 games, 2 game winners since coming over to Chicago. The Hawks outshot the Sharks 40-38. Other former Sharks to help Chicago, Michael Sikora with an assist. Chris Terreri, 38 saves in all. To the Saddle Dome for the Kings and Flames, and we can only hope this mascot had its shots. First period, good defense. Keep your eye on Yannick Perreault. If you couldn't tell who he was, we spot shouted him. He hustles back just to catch Dave Gagne in time to force him to shoot it wide. Theo Fleury going for his 300th goal. Stefan Fiset says no, not yet. Fleury saying a very bad word. Second period, Kings shorthanded. Perreault with a nifty move and beats Trevor Kidd. He's already saved 1 goal. Now he's scored 1. His 11th of the year, puts the Kings up 1-0. Kings now lead 3-0 late in the second. Steve Chason from 70 feet out finally puts the Flames on the board 3-1. Third period, Fleury still looking for his 300th career goal. He got it.
He scores!
The historic goal puts the Flames down 3-2 with a $1:45 remaining. Flames trying to tie. Yves Racine robbed by Stefan Fiset. Kings hold on to win 3-2. Yannick Perreault's shorthanded goal was the 14th given up by the Flames this season. Worst in the NHL. Stefan Fiset stopped 38 shots for the Kings, who were outshot 41-19. It's just the 2nd win in the last 12 road games for Larry Robinson's team from Los Angeles. College hoops, and we can't be sure whether said no way to Florida, or trying to. First period, Canadians on the power play scoreless. Martin Rusinski from Mark Recchi, his 16th of the year, 1-0 Habs. In the second, we're tied at 1. Panthers putting on the pressure, and oh, what's his name comes up big. John Van Beesbroek, stoic. Maybe he's trying to figure out Van Beesbroek. Late in the third, Habs lead 2-1 per Gustafsson. The shot, Johan Garpenlov is there to tie the game at 2. Mario Tremblay sniffing his program. In overtime, the Canadians make a bid, but Mark Fitzpatrick denies Brian Savage. This game ends in a 2-2 tie. An old whatchamacallit stopped 39 shots in place of an ill Jocelyn Thibault, which is not Thibault. We know that for sure. I didn't care about being the first star or second star, said Theodore. Said Coach Mario Tremblay, quote, I was very happy about the way the kid played tonight. That's it. Maybe we should just call him a kid. To Ottawa for Senators and Canucks. Everybody there having another donut. Adrian Aucoin having a little Andreas Dackel. Dackel would leave the game for stitches. Ouch. Still in the first period. Senators up 2-1. Everyone's scrambling, and in front, Corey Hirsch can't find it. Sean Van Allen does, pokes it through, puts Ottawa up 3-1. Second period, Senators up 4-1. Alexei Yashin. Dackel came back in the game to score to put Ottawa up 5-1. Corey Hirsch, see ya. Kirk McLean, hello. Third period, Canucks making a fat comeback. Alexander Mogilny shoots. Mike Wrigley redirects. Canucks within 1, 5-4. But Denny Lambert with the nifty little pass to Alexander Daig. Daig shoots. He scores. Senators win this puppy 6-4. And with the win, the Senators move within 4 points of Montreal in the last playoff spot in the East. Said Steve Duchesne, let me tell you, we can taste it. We can feel that the playoffs are not far off. Everybody's hungry for it.
Still to come here on SportsCenter.
Any of those three ever did in one full season in Edmonton. 6 shutouts already for Cujo, but in all due respect, is the puck de-juiced? With word on a scoring drought in the NHL, here's Kenny Mayne.
Jagger, what a move. Look at him go. Review, shot. Oh, my gosh. You'll not see a prettier goal ever.
You know, we have guys in this league scoring 75 goals a year. You know, we had Wayne Gretzky at one time scoring 92.
They're still out there, somewhere. A goaltender's worst nightmare. The snipers are still out there. But lately, they've been shooting blanks.
In my estimation, goaltending is the most important position in all of sport. But a goaltender, all by himself, can determine the outcome of a game.
The puck. It's round as the zeros that shine on scoreboards throughout the league. It's not been finding the back of the net. For the goaltenders are having a season like none other. With 4 scoreless ties and 83 shutouts so far, the league is on pace for a 133 shutout season. The record, 99. For example, the Flyers had 4 consecutive shutouts in December. And another, Dominic Hasek. 2 of his 5 shutouts this season have been against the last 2 Stanley Cup champions.
In the old days, the kid that couldn't skate when he was 12 years old or 10 years old, or the kid that was too fat to play forward was stuck in net with the equipment on. That's how you got to play goal. Now, better athletes are becoming goaltenders. It's the fastest way to the NHL, and you'll stay there longer than anybody else if you're a good goaltender. You see Andy Moog still playing. You see a lot of older goaltenders still playing at a very high level.
With 17 years of NHL experience strapped to his pads, Andy Moog has been the backbone of Dallas's rise in the Central. With a stingy 2.17 goals against average, Moog has won 20 games this season. 10 years ago with Edmonton, Moog's goals against average was 3.51. 15-year veteran John Van Beesbroek has a 2.14 goals against average this season. 10 years ago, as the #1 goalie for the Rangers, the average was 3.64. Defensive statistics are improving as the face of the game continues to change.
The whole game is more defense right now, and this is a key why we are not scoring goals as much as we did last year.
Scoring in the NHL is down 7% from last season. Team with Jaromir Jagr, Mario Lemieux is on a pace to win the scoring title with 140 points. That would be one of the lowest point totals for an Art Ross Trophy winner since Guy Lafleur won the scoring title with 125 points in 1976.
Coaching is much better now than it's been last 20 years. And you have teams that have to play a defensive style, thus clutching and grabbing, thus no speed through the neutral zone, thus hooking and holding. That's taken away the star quality. Thus you're not getting outnumbered chances. No 2-on-1s, no 3-on-2s, which over the years has been a staple for offense in the NHL.
The Florida Panthers employ a defensive style that has them atop the NHL and was the foundation of their cup run a year ago. The Devils, who used a solid defensive trap in winning the Stanley Cup in 1995, limited the Vancouver Canucks to 8 shots on goal in the game December 18th. If it's defense winning hockey games and championships, what can be done to this style of play that some fans find boring?
If that's the case, let's play without goalies. You know, let's just have it like basketball. There's no goalies, and you just go down the ice, and if you get a clear shot, you score.
Messier, empty net. Yari Curry is with him. Messier, Yari Curry, shoots, shot it wide.
Kenny, thanks. Now go nibble on your grandma's arm fat. As you can see, there's been a fat drop-off in scoring, a steady drop from 8 goals a game 15 seasons ago to fewer than 6 a game now. At the current rate, there will be 500 fewer goals scored this season than last. Now it starts with a check, check, check. And then comes the introduction and the "we'll win here" speech. And then Coach will take questions. Yes, it's the time-honored new head coach hire after the season. Are we going to go over that again, Lemieux asked, in search of history at home? And we start with ancient history. October 11th, 84, Mario's first NHL goal. Who knew that 13 years later he wants number 600? And in the first period, Jaromir Jagr finds Lemieux streaking, but he's hauled down before the shot, penalty called. Still in the first, watch Mario. He would fire a shot, but Stewart, he broke off a little something, literally, as his stick. His stick was in the net, not the puck, so Mario was goalless after one period. In the third, still goalless. The steal in the offensive zone prevents Mario from getting a shot off. Tied at 4. This was a good game. Ron Francis would get his 20th goal of the year. Streaking past Lemieux is quite well covered by Vancouver, which apparently did not want to be in the record books. Pens lead 5-4, still looking for 600. Lemieux can't connect there. But with an empty net, he shoots, he scores. Number 600. Congratulations, Mario. You heard it from the fans who went berserk, responding to his 600th goal by tossing hundreds of hats into the rink, a welcome breach of league policy regarding items tossed from the stands. Joe Mullen also edged closer to an historic goal, scoring the 498th of his career. He needs 2 more to become the first U.S.-born player to 500 goals. As for 66 with 600,
I mean, it was great. That's why I wanted to do it tonight here in this building in front of the fans, and you know, to get a standing ovation at the end like this was something special. Well, it's a pretty special list. You look at all the guys that have scored 600 in their career: Esposito and Marcel Dion and Gretz and Bobby All. So you know, to be in that category is you know, something that I can cherish for the rest of my life.
Was Mario peaking in our rundown? Because here's that super list he was talking about, his 600-plus goal scorers. He's the only one of the 7 men you see here to score all his goals with just one team. He reached the 600-goal plateau in his 719th game. Only Gretzky reached that mark quicker in 718 games. Imagine how many goals Mario would have if he hadn't missed 226 regular season games.
He didn't have to peek in the rundown. He produced the show.
Oh!
Red Wings coach Scotty Bowman isn't really hated by former players. I mean, just because Kings coach Larry Robinson, a former Bowman pupil, woke up one night in a cold sweat, choking his pillow, remembering some dream about Bowman, just because another former player, Mike Ramsey, once uttered, quote, "There are a lot of times when there's a human being there." Doesn't mean they hated him. But with 6 Stanley Cup championships as a coach, on the verge of being the first NHL coach to reach 1,000 wins, ironically, against his first team, does it really matter? Red Wings and the Blues. Bowman watching Vladimir Konstantinov crush a person into the boards. There are some people, just one-man wrecking crews here. Jeff Courtnall gets rocked by Vladimir Konstantinov. Still in the second, Mark Bergevin slap shot misses wide. Harry York there for the rebound. Vernon saves while flat on his down low. 26 saves for Vernon, only 1 on his rear end. Still in the second, Igor Larionov gets it to Steve Yzerman. Grant Fuhrer decides, not here, not now. He had 25 saves. Vyacheslav Fetisov gets his face permanently embedded into the Joe Louis Arena. Can you read that? And then he falls down all by himself. Still third, more madness. Nicholas Lidstrom tells Igor Kravchuk, get in the penalty box. Third period, under a minute left. Brett Hull tries to go around Vernon, but Vernon dives, knocks the puck into the side of the net. Scotty Bowman does not get win number 1,000. Game ends in a 1-1 tie. So the team that gave Bowman win number 1 through 110 denies him win number 1,000. Bowman just joins what's become habit place at Joe Louis Arena. It's the 4th overtime game there in the last 5.
O.J. Simpson is liable and responsible for the deaths of his ex-plot to Mario Lemieux's historic night, that the Penguins needed him to score that 600th goal. Well, they didn't need it per se, but here's the point. Right behind the Penguins in the Northeast, the Buffalo Sabres, who have overcome 19 front office firings, the loss of Pat LaFontaine, and falling jumbotrons to become a serious playoff factor. A win against the Atlantic leading Flyers Tuesday, and Buffalo would remain 1 point behind Pittsburgh. Buffalo led 1-0 midway through the second, and then all H.E. double toothpicks broke loose. Rob Ray gets into it with Chris Terry, and his first of 6 Flyer opponents in this brawl that's breaking out. Bob Bugner punches Scott Daniels, and then Scott Daniels is trying to swing at anything with a pulse. The ref saying, help me, help me. Now we place an arrow on Rob Ray. Let's follow this. Fights Michel Petit, his second opponent in this fight. Then he takes on Flyer number 3, goalie Garth Snow. Then Dominic Hodges says, Garth is involved. I better be too. He joins the melee. The Buffalo Sabres bench doing their part not to join the fray, saying, what's going on over there? Ray's number 4 opponent, Scott Daniels, in the middle of the pile. Number 5 for Ray, Daniel Lacroix. right there, and then Gary Galley and Dan Kordick skate by. Kordick is the only flyer Ray has not fought until now. Takes him on there. Rob Ray coming out of our lobby trying to pick a fight with anybody he could find. He was not thrown out of this game. He only got 15 minutes in the box. As for the hockey, Jason Daw, short-handed, stoned by Garth Snow. Matthew Barnaby, equally stoned later in the third period. Mike Pekka to Ed Ronan on the breakaway. Snow up to the task. 28 saves for him. Ted Nolan smiling, but he's crying inside. Garth Snow taunting the Sabres at the end of a wild and woolly 1-1 game. 4 players were ejected, but Rob Ray was not one of them, and he fought 6 people. The final feud tally, 11 players hit with 22 penalties, 154 penalty minutes in all. Said Garth Snow, quote, "In certain situations, tempers flare. You never know what the reasons are." Said Sabres coach Ted Nolan, quote, "Our tough lines were out there against their tough lines. It just happens, Stuart."
Sometimes Indiana's Andre Patterson looks like the next coming. Remember his 39 against Duke. Other times his play is in fence.
Joe Sacco breaking in, and Ziggy comes back to bust up the play, but still in the first. Turnabout is fair play. Ziggy comes in, and Steve Ruchin knocks it away. Isles trailing 2-0 in the second period. Ziggy comes through. Brian Berard with the sweep pass, and Ziggy one-times it. Isles come back to tie it at 2. Third period game tied at 3. Derek Armstrong batted off him, past Mikhail Stalenkov as it pops in the air. That was strange as the Isles win 4-3. And of his fluky game winner, Derek Armstrong said, quote, "When I'm 50, I'll say I put it on the top shelf." The win snapped a 3-game losing streak for Long Island, but extended their home winning streak to 3 games. You got that? Lightning and Coyotes, final score 2-0. The Nings' 3-game road losing streak is history. Chris Gratton, who scored 17 seconds into the game, has 12 goals and 24 of his 38 points in road games. Red Hot Senators in Boston. Ray Bourque honored before the game as all-time leading scorer of Boston. Got a crystal sculpture and a golf cart, and then in the first period, he got a goal. With apologies to Bill Pito. Bourque's 11th of the season. Bruins lead 1-0. Second period, 2-1 Boston. Sergei Zholtok with a breakaway pass to Tom Chorsky, who beats Rob Tallis. Chorsky's 6 were tied at 2, tied at 3 in the third. Senators on the power play. Andreas Dackel beats Tallis. Senators 3 for 3 on the power play. Ottawa wins 4-3. And Ottawa is now tied with Boston for 10th place in the Eastern Conference with 46 points. The Senators 3-0-1 in their last 4 road games, Stuart.
One city, 2 teams. The part
and about with cancer? Well, if you can, then you certainly realize that Tuesday's historic 600th goal would have come much sooner. After all, this is a guy that scores 100 goals for every 1.5 full seasons he plays. Problem is, he never plays a full season, and Mario out again on Wednesday. More back trouble as his Penguins traveled to Montreal. Jose Theodore in the net for the Canadiens. Second period, Pens up 1. Peter Nedved breaks in and beats Theodore on the power play goal. His 24th. Pens are up 2-0. Penn goalie Patrick Lalime. He'd faced 25 shots alone in the second period. Lalime with the save on Brian Savage in front, and then he stops the rebound by Mark Recchi. Still in the second, Pens up 3-2. Craig Rivet with the shot, stopped by Lalime. Lalime stones Turner Stevenson again on the rebound. Moments later, Recchi on the breakaway. Recchi, Lalime. Recchi wins it. His 25th, score tied at 3. Third period, Pens are up 4-3 after a Glenn Murray goal. Murray breaks in and beats Theodore again, his 7th. Pens are up 5-3. Then late in the third with the Pens up, Jaromir Jagr. Look how nice that is. His 44th. And the Pens go on to win 6-3, the final score. Lalime ended up with 46 saves, which was needed since the Pens were outshot 25-9 in the second period. The win was just Pittsburgh's second in 16 games at Montreal, dating back to 1988. Rangers winless at their last 4 at home. Gretzky trying to change all that, and he's mixing it up with Kevin Haller. Gretzky not backing down. They'd tangle all night. Rangers on the power play, down 1-0 in the second. Gretzky fires the point shot, deflected by Adam Graves, past John Burke, his 18th, tied at 1. Still in the second, Gretzky feeding Luc Robitaille, who feeds the net. Gretzky's second assist of the game, 2-1 New York. Third period, 3-1 Rangers. Gretzky. The nice cross-ice feed to a cutting Brian Leetch, and Leetch does the rest up high. Rangers up 4-1. Then Robitaille gets it back and beats Burke. 5-2 the Rangers win. Adam Graves scored twice, as they snapped the 4-game home winless streak. Gretzky was held without a goal for his 15th straight game, but he did finish with 4 assists, the 74th time in his career that he has registered 4 or more assists. Said Gretzky of his run-in with Haller, he was just doing his job, trying to distract me, trying to get under my skin.
Number 4, Minnesota saw the box. Must have cheated. Stars on the power play. Daryl Sador's blast off a lightning stick. Then Dave Reed sends that sucker home. His 14th of the year. 1-0 the Stars. More Stars. 2-on-1. Mike Kennedy looking for Reed. They know each other. They're teammates. Found him. Shoots. Tabarachi with the big save, though. Third period. Stars up 3-0. Neil Broughton skating in. Tabarachi can't save this. Stuffs it home. Broughton's first of the year. 4-0. Arturs Urbe, what of him? Not pictured. He's on your left. He's sprawled, gets his stick up high, stops that. He stopped many other things. In fact, he stopped them all. Arturs Urbe, with his 9th career shutout, the first in nearly 2 years. He stopped 28 shots in the 200th game of his NHL career. Stars are 5-2-0 in the last 7 games. The Ducks, the Leafs, Anaheim undefeated when Paul Kariya and Teemu Selanne score in the same game. Second period, Ducks trailing 1-0. Ducks on the power play. Kariya taking the feed from Selanne. He shoots, he scores, he beats Potvin, 24th of the year, 1-1 game. Still in the second. Leafs up 2-1. Top of the screen, now middle of the screen, now getting shoved into the screen is Selanne. Bad move, Ty Domi was all over him. The Leafs get possession. The end result, Doug Gilmour feeds Matt Sundin. It's a hockey goal. Leafs lead 3-1. Less than a minute to go in the second. Kariya sets up Selanne. Those two play well together. Ducks trail 3-2 after 2. Third period, the Ducks still trailing by 1. Kariya and Selanne looking for the equalizer. Here's the pass. Here's the, well, didn't work. 4-2 is your final. The Maple Leafs get a break from a 5-game winless streak. Sundin's 2 goals give him 31 for the season, ended 5 games of scorelessness. Gilmour also got involved for Toronto with 3 assists. Moving along, Kings, Sharks. Roll tape. Second period, 2-0 Kings. Andrei Nazarov and goes down and then tempers flair. Let's bring in Larry Merchant for analysis here. Big hockey fight that lasts a long time. Gloves flying, sticks flying, bodies flying, ref down, ref up. Penalty minutes were gladly distributed. The ref did not have to go to the penalty box. Third period, 2-1 Kings. Victor Kozlov skates in, the wrist shot. Pass Fassé, ties the score at 2 apiece. More roughing. Rob Blake into Sean Don. That's cheating. It looked ugly, but he's okay. Late in the third period, Sharks coming on the power play. Bernie Nichols shot, deflected by Ron Sutter. Sharks get it, and the Sharks win it by a score indicated on this panel, 3-2. There was carnage at this event. The teams combined for 169 penalty minutes. San Jose now has won 3 straight against the Kings. The Kings go 2-6-1 in the last 9 games.
Well, Washington, D.C. is...
Scores in hockey. Reed Simpson, a tear in his jersey, ordered to leave the game by the fashion police. Meanwhile, Lyle Odeline and Steve Webb, what the world needs now. There's Reed Simpson again. Where's the equipment manager? Second period, Devils up 2-0. Brian Berard picks the pass. 1 times it wide of Brodeur. Palffy and Danica go flying after the puck. Now watch the puck. It's circled. And then Brodeur has no clue. Smolinski throws it home. It's 2-1 Devils. Third period, Devils up 3-1. Now Steve Sullivan makes the great pass. Dave Andrzejczyk, he shoots, he scores his 20th, the final, 4-1. Jersey now 8-0-1 in the last 9 at home against the Isles. And New Jersey is unbeaten in the last 5 games. Pittsburgh, a winner against Montreal. Patrick Lalime stopped 46 shots. Peter Nedved and Glenn Murray each scored twice. New York beat Hatfield. Gretzky had 4 assists in that one. Toronto, a winner 4-2. Matt Sundin with 2 goals and 2 assists. And Dallas gets a shutout from Arturs Urbe, his first in a Stars uniform in the 200th game of his career. The Sharks beat the Kings, and many players hit each other. Stay around. More Sports Center coming. Hockey pictures of the night. The Flames, the Oilers. Trevor Kidd's clearing attempt. Picked off by Jason Arnott, and then he beats Kidd. He's got a goal. It's 2-1. The Oilers in front. Second period, still 2-1. Todd Marchant finds Dean McCann, and he shoots a bit high. The rebound's back out. It's Marchant who follows. He scores. 2-2 feed game. 3 minutes later, Brian Marchman shot wide. The rebound goes to Doug Waite. Shoots, scores. Oilers up 3-2, go on to win. 5-2. Edmonton only got off 19 shots on goal, but the 3 good ones in the third period worked real well. The first time since 1992 that the Oilers have won 5 games in a row.
Well,
another couple of days, and the inevitable seemed due to arrive Thursday with the Vancouver Canucks in Detroit. The Canucks have given up 5 goals a game during this 0-3 road trip where Joe was bound, and 51 of Scotty Bowman's 999 career wins have come at Vancouver's expense in the first period. Dana Merz in the shot. Alexander Mogilny the rebound. The Canucks up 1-0. So much for the inevitable. 14 seconds later, Sergei Fedorov and Slava Kozlov hook up on a nifty game-tying goal. We're tied at 1. Stuart, do you know Russian, by the way? Can you help me out with that? No. I tried it, too. That was one sign for Sergei Fedorov, and it looks like he read it, because it said, beat Kirk McLean.
So you do know Russian?
Nah. Red Wings lead 3-2. We're tied at 3 in the second period. Joey Kocur, his first goal since October 26 of 95. Red Wings lead 4-3, but we're tied in the third at 4 when Jyrki Lumi finds Martin. His second of 3 goals on the night. Canucks lead 5-4, and they go on to win 7-4. The Canucks had their share of having history made against them Tuesday when Mario Lemieux got goal number 600 against them. Said Trevor Linden, who had 4 assists, quote, "We didn't need any more of that." So Bowman will have to wait till Saturday and go for 1,000 in Pittsburgh, where he won the Stanley Cup in '92. Quite ironic, eh, Scotty? I have no preference whatsoever, he said.
Will he wezen? I'll keep trying.
We allow 70 shots, and Dominic stops them all. Hosting Florida, and I've built up Dominic so much. Come on, make me look good. The first shot he faces, he lets in. All right. Beats Hasek his 10th. 1-0 Panthers after 1. Thanks, Dominic. Midway second period, Richard Schmelik centers to Donald Audette. He beats Mark Fitzpatrick. We're tied at 1 after 2. At least someone's at an NHL game with the proper headgear. Under a minute to play, Rob Niedermeyer, one-hand pass to Johan Garpenlov. Hasek up to the task. Overtime not fruitful. We end in a 1-1 tie. And Hasek stopped 32 straight shots after giving up a goal on the first shot of the game. Florida held Buffalo shotless in the first 13.5 minutes of the third period. The Panthers even killed a penalty in overtime. Florida's 3-1-2 in its last 6. Montreal and Philly. Terry Murray and his Flyers are 3-3-4 since their 17-game unbeaten streak. A moment of trepidation in the first period for Trent Klatt. Klatt takes a stick to the face from Pierre Sevigny. Klatt left the game bloodied, but he would return. Still in the first period, Jean Leclerc skates in on Thomas Vokoun, Montreal's goalie of the week. Leclerc's 30th, and the Flyers lead 2-1. Vokoun making his first NHL start, victimized by Leclerc again, his second of the game, 31st in the year. Leclerc used to play for Montreal, you know. You think he's using that as a revenge factor? Well, 6 minutes into the second, Leclerc's 5th hat trick of his career. Flyers lead 5-2. Third period, another injury to report. Rod Brindamore, as we see the hats, hits Stefan Quintal on the left side of his knee. Quintal had to be helped off the ice. He did not return. We go to the late third period. Leclerc looking for goal number 4, and you know what? He got it. From Eric Lindros, Leclerc's 4th goal of the game, 33rd of the year. Leclerc's first 4-goal game. Flyers win 9-5. Leclerc with 4 goals and 2 assists, a 6-point night against Montreal. This 2 days shy of the 2-year anniversary of his fated trade from the Canadiens to Philly. February 8th, 1995 was the day Montreal dealt Leclerc, Eric Desjardins, and Gilbert Dion to Philly for Mark Recchi in a draft pick, and Leclerc has made them pay ever since.
It seems like everybody does have teams that they seem to have some success against, and you know, it's kind of nice that I did play for Montreal, and they seem to be one of those teams where you know, I do get some chances. We've been real sluggish. We haven't been playing sharp. You know, we had a pretty good stretch there, and we were sharp every night. And I think now we were just trying to cheat our way through some games, and we were getting burnt on it.
Against Montreal, Jean Leclerc is everywhere. He scored 14 goals in 10 games against Montreal, with whom, as you can see, he was not nearly as productive as he has been with Philly. In only 17 more games, Leclerc has almost tripled his goal-scoring production and has more than doubled his assist output, Stuart.
So Wisconsin's got no shot of jacking up.
Hot streak has brought the Blues back from the dead and within 9 points of division-leading Dallas, which visited the Kiel Center Thursday, and Brett Hull's line is clicking in this night. First period, Brett Hull, Jeff Courtnall to Pierre Turgeon. 1-0 Blues. We're tied at 1 in the first. Now Turgeon to Courtnall splits the defense for Brett Hull. 2-1 Blues. Hull's been on fire. Scary moment for Grant Fuhrer. Watch as he takes the wicked slap shot off the face mask. He would stay in the game, though. Third period, Hull looking for the hat trick now. Pierre Turgeon to Hull, but Hull stopped on the doorstep. Look at it again. The puck hits Arturs Urbe, and then the post. So close. So I guess you'd have to do it shorthanded later in the third. Stéphane Matteau stuffs it past over the Hull. Stoned it first, but he puts it in the net from behind the net, falling down. 6-2 Blues. The Brett Hull, Jeff Courtnall, and Pierre Turgeon line needs a nickname, as they win 6-4. They combined for 5 goals and 6 assists in this game. Hull recorded his 28th career hat trick and now has 32 goals, 20 of them coming in the last 20 games in Boston. Whalers win! The Whalers win!
You okay?
Yeah, I'm all right.
You drooled on it.
Andrew Castle's 2 third-period goals snapped the 3-game losing streak for the Whale. Hartford now has 49 points, 3 more in Boston, sitting now 7th in the Eastern Conference. Coming up, an interview with Walters. No, not Barbara, but Kara. Kara, if you could be a tweet, what
period? Coyotes up 1-0. Hawks nice passing. James Black finds Jeff Shand, sets up Ethan Moreau. Moreau. His 4th of the year, ties the game at 1. Chicago not very nice to Gartner. Chris Chelios with a little body English right there. Good no call. 3rd period, 2-2, 1:09 remaining. Craig Janney finds Keith Tkachuk. You know he was butter because he was on a roll. First time I've ever said that in a hockey highlight. 33rd goal of the year for Tkachuk. Coyotes win at 3-2. Tkachuk had ripped his teammates, questioning their desire to win after they were shut out by Tampa Bay on Tuesday. Also in the NHL Thursday, Martin Jelena had the hat trick as Scotty Bowman again denied his 1,000th.
Arena, certainly not lacking goaltending are the Devils. Martin Brodeur, Stones Rob Niedermeyer, and then on the break, David Nemirovsky equally as stoned. Meanwhile, Brodeur's counterpart, John Van Beesbroek, sharp. Dave Andrechuk's shot stopped by Beezer's chin. But the goalies were not all brick walls throughout this game. But Guerin sticks home the loose puck, his 19th. Devils up 2-0. Panthers respond. Terry Cartner shoots. Johan Garpenlov tips it in. Florida down now only 2-1. 4 minutes later, Scott Mellenby to Garpenlov. He shoots, he scores! Garpenlov's 2nd of the game. We're tied at 2. Late in regulation. Devils looking to wrap it up. Brian Ralston's shot. Glove saved by the Beezer. Tied at 2, end of regulation, and that's when Beezer's glove comes into play again. Bobby Holik, great pass to Steve Sullivan. Beezer. Goodness gracious, 33 saves for him. Brodeur had 27. Jacques Lemaire stoic. The final score, 2-2. It's the 3rd straight tie for the Panthers, who have now kissed their sister a league-leading 13 times. Florida's played a league-high 17 overtimes this season, amassing a record of 2-2-13. With the tie, the Devils extend their unbeaten streak to 6 games at being 2-0-4.
Lennox
5-2 winners over the Capitals. The Caps lose for the first time on their 5-game road trip. They're now 1-1-1. Jim Carrey was chased early in the second after trailing 3-0. The Flames move into a tie with Anaheim, 2 points behind Chicago for the final Western Conference playoff spot.
Where February 2nd kept repeating over and over for the film star Bill Murray. Don't be surprised if the Red Wings head coach Scotty Bowman called Murray to find out how to handle the part. He's been living the real-life version of Groundhog's Day as he has tried to become the first NHL head man to reach the 1,000 regular season wins mark. Saturday afternoon was chance number 3 for a grand as the Wings paid a visit to the Penguins. Let's get chilly. There's the man trying to get off 9-9-9. First period, Detroit down 2-1. Thomas Sandstrom shoots. Save, Patrick Lalime. Rebound back to Sandstrom. Saved. Brendan Shanahan from behind scores. Game tied at 2. Second period, watch this sequence. Peter Nedved shoots. Mike Vernon the save. Rebound out to Ian Moran. Shot block. Adrian Johansson shoots. Save Vernon. Tremendous play from Vernon. Third period. Ron Francis to Jaromir Jagr. The backhander to Dave Roush. Penguins up 5-4. Down 1. Detroit answers. Igor Larionov centers to Darren McCarty in front. He shoots, and guess what? McCarty's 2nd goal of the game, 12th of the year. Game tied at 5 to overtime. Lemieux moves in. The pass to Francis. He fans right in front of an open net. 30 seconds later, Brendan Shanahan in front for the goal. Shanahan hat trick. It gives Bowman the 1,000th win he's been looking for. So after a tie with St. Louis and a loss to Vancouver, Bowman had to endure overtime to become the league's first 1,000-win coach. Ironically, the milestone was reached against one of Bowman's former teams. He won the Stanley Cup with the Penguins in 1992. Here's how Bowman stacks up against the other major sports top coaches and managers. Just 2nd in winning percentage to Hall of Fame headman Don Shula. In addition to having the most wins in league history, Bowman also holds the top spot in winning percentage and games coached. Stars and Coyotes. Mike Gartner looking for history as well. Second period, Coyotes up 1-0 on the power play. Norm McIver shot. Gartner gets the puck to Korolev, who banks it in. Gartner at $5.99 in the assist department. 3 minutes later, Cody's again on the power play. Gartner behind the net, out front to Cliff Ronning for the one-timer. Phoenix goes up 2-0. Gartner's 600th assist, and everybody's saying, good job, bud. Phoenix leads 4-1 early in the third when disaster strikes. The rebound put in by Dave Reed. Dallas down 4-2. 10 minutes later, Darian Hatcher's shot from behind the point. Tipped right in. Dallas down 4-3. 42 seconds later, this time, Daryl Sador from the point. Tapped in by Pat Verbeek. Game tied at 4. We go to overtime. Just over a minute left. Verbeek brings the puck out from behind the net and beats Nikolai Habibulin for the game winner, his second of the night. Dallas wins 5-4 in overtime, coming back from a 3-goal third-period deficit. So Pat Verbeek is the hero for Dallas with 1:10 left in overtime. Mike Gartner had 2 second-period assists to become just the 6th player in NHL history to collect 600 dishes. Dallas needs this win. It stopped a 3-game road losing streak. The Stars scored the final 5 goals to put this one away. Mike Gartner can put himself on the list with the best right wingers all time. His 685 goals are second to only Gordie Howe, and his 600 assists ranks 6th all time. Speaking of 6th, Gartner is just the 6th member of the 600-600 club for goals and assists. Larry. Revenge in their eyes. The last time they put on the skates to take on the Philadelphia Flyers, the boys from Philly rolled to a 3-1 win. That was on October 7th. 4 months and 1 day later, the Devils are riding a 6-game unbeaten streak, and they hope to ride it over the Flyers. To the rink, everyone. Eric Lindros and Scott Stevens say, how are you? Stevens wanted some more, but he got an interference call for this hit on Eric Lacroix. 2-1 Flyers after 2 periods. New Jersey on a 4-minute power play. Kevin Dean with the shot. Valerie Zelepukin puts the rebound in. Game tied at 2. This time Bobby Holy pounces on a loose puck past Hextall. 3-2 Devils. Then came the goal of the night. Steve Sullivan with the beautiful move, the backhand. Look at that again. He beats Yanni Niinema. The Devils score 3 goals in less than 10 minutes and win the contest. 2 goals in less than 2 minutes, and the Devils come out victorious. New Jersey is now 3-0-4 in its last 7 ice encounters, and the Flyers' unbeaten streak on the road is halted at 12 games. This is Philly's first loss in the 21 games this season. They took the lead into the 3rd period. Escape from New York, Rangers and Islanders. First period, 1-0 Rangers on the power play. Brian Leetch moving and grooving, passes to Mark Messier, who illuminates the lamp. Messier's 30th, Rangers by 2. Mid-second period, 2-1 Rangers. Mark McInnes centers to Kenny Janssen. His second, game tied at 2. Don't worry about it, kid. There's still hope. Messier on the 4-on-2, down low, shoots, scores on the DL. Messier's second of the game, 3-2 Rangers. 13 minutes into the third. Janssen on the clear, gets stripped by former Islander captain Patrick Flatley, who spins, shoots, and scores. Does it in there. Messier with his patented off-wing shot, chalk it up. The hat trick, his 32nd goal of the season. And we have traitors. It's that easy. That's the Rangers win. Along with hat trick number 19, Messier extends his point-scoring streak to 10 games. Rangers goalie Mike Richter wins his 25th game of the year behind 27 saves. As for Messier's hat trick, it was a first by a Ranger at Nassau Coliseum in the 25 years of this rivalry. The Blue Shirts might have come away with the win, but they do have a concern in the shape of number 99. Wayne Gretzky has not scored in 16 straight games, including Saturday's contest. This ties his all-time career drought. The first time was with the Kings during the 92-93 season when he missed 39 games and scored just 16 goals. We run north of the border as the Waylanders visit the Canadiens. Saku Koivu back in the lineup after missing 26 games. Sets up Mark Recchi. His 26th of the season, 1-0 Montreal. 2:40 left, 3rd period. Whalers up 2-1. Stéphane Richer. Give him his 16th of the year. We're tied at 2. 1 minute into overtime. Mark Recchi feeds Brian Savage, and that's the game. Savage with his 20th of the year as Montreal wins in OT. 1 minute and 1 second in overtime, and the Habs come out winners. This was just Montreal's 2nd win in 10 games, but it lifted them over Hartford into 3rd place in the Northeast Division. The loss dropped the Whalers to 2-4 on their 6-game road trip. When Larry and I return, we will move out of the way.
Dmitry Boy, it's tough to say Mironov if you're talking that fast. And Cujo no matter how you say it, makes the save. Still 1-0 after 2. Later in the third, 1-1. Andrei Kovalenko to Jason Arnott. Guy Hebert with the save. We go to overtime, 45 seconds in. Steve Rushin to a streaking Teemu Selanne, who ends the game right there. The Ducks winning 2-1 in overtime. Only one shot taken by either team in OT, and that was it. Selanne with the game winner 45 seconds in. Guy Hebert with 31 saves. It's his 17th victory. This was the Oilers' first loss in 6 games. Sharks and Senators played with 3-3 tie. San Jose rookie Steven Guola scoring a pair of goals in the third period. Ottawa has 3 wins and a tie in their last 4 games.
Winston Cup rookie Mike Skinner might be traveling in the shadow of his new.
Lunging save on Keith Jones. Take another look. Hackett completely out of the net. Looks like an easy goal. Dives and makes the save. And with him playing like that, that's why Ed Belfour was traded. Tied at 1 in the second. Alexei Zhamnov lights the light on Patrick Waugh. And more from Hackett here. Adam Deadmarsh has him dead to rights. Hackett with 30 saves. Way to go, Jeff Hackett. 4-2 Blackhawks. Hackett, as we said, 30 saves. He called it Chicago's best game of the season. The Blackhawks have won 4 of 5. Colorado's 6-game home unbeaten streak over, but the Lange still have the best home record in the league, 16-5-4. The Sabres and the Lightning, Buffalo unbeaten in their last 5. Dino Ciccarelli back after missing 3 games because of a concussion. First period, Chris Groton says, hello, Richard Schmelik. Second period, Lightning down 1-0. Patrick Pullen setting up Damon Langkow. And Dominik Hasek covers up. First shot hit the post. Then Rob Zammer. And denied by Hasek in the slot. Dominator with 31 saves. Still 1-0 Sabres. Gary Galley setting up Mike Pekka. One-timing past Rick Tabaracci. Gets a power play goal, and the Sabres win 3-1. Matthew Barnaby scored twice. Hasek 31 saves. The Sabres extend their unbeaten streak to 6 games. Tampa Bay had the game's first 8 shots on goal. They outshot Buffalo 32-25, but it was not enough. More scores from the NHL. The Blues and Bruins played with 3-3 tie. Boston coming back from a 3-0 deficit to pick up a point in that one. The Maple Leafs beat Vancouver 4-2. Felix the Cat Potvin with 28 saves.
Time for Mr. Beal and I to round third and head for home.
Ranger victories. Messier has scored 3 game-winning goals and assisted on the other 3. To Miami, where they celebrated National Hockey Night with Mess. Rough early. Bill Lindsay meet Alexander Kopitsev. First period tied. Panthers extra man. Rob Niedermeyer. Scott Mellenby pass Richter. 2-1 Panthers, number 22 for Mellenby. Panthers on the attack. Wells wins the race to the puck. He works hard. That's the Panthers' motto. Gets it back to the point. Morton Straka will put in the rebound pass. Richter, number 5 for Straka. 3-1 Florida. Second period, game still physical. That's Korkner and Ulf Samuelsson. Ulfie, I guess, can't make another commercial for us. He's hurt. Third period, Rangers down 1. Brian Leach. The rush. Messier gets the puck. Beezer makes the save, then covers the rebound. The great one can't bear to watch. He's busy suffering in his slump. Panthers hang on to beat the Rangers 4-3. Gretzky has not scored a goal in 17 straight games now, and that is the longest drought of his career. The Rangers feel their age when they play games on successive nights. Their record drops to 6-6 in the back end of back-to-back games. Sabres looking to leapfrog the Pens with a win over Ottawa. Zhitnik, nice pass to Jason Daw. Daw beats Damian Rhodes. 1-0 saves. Daw's 15th. 2-0 Sabres. Third period, Pekka. Luukkonen racing. Luukkonen pushed into the boards. Luukkonen would be okay. Pekka gets 2 for boarding. Power play. Reid Redden shot. The deflection by Randy Cunninworth. But wait, can we check this one out? Please, the replay. Roll it. Cunninworth, right foot in the crease. Puck deflects off right foot. You know what that means. Double negative. No goal. Still 2-0. 9 seconds later, York shot. Dominator. Oh, Zholtnik stuffs in the rebound, so it's now 2-1. Then a minute later, Alexei Yashin setting up Sean McEachern in front, but Hasek slams the door. 32 saves for Dominik Hasek. He's 6-1-3 in his last 10. Yes, the Buffalo Sabres back in first place, overtaking the Penguins for the moment. 2-1 the final over Ottawa. Dominik Hasek, the 32 saves. You know what? He is now 15-0-1 lifetime against Ottawa. The Senators 1-11 all-time against Buffalo.
You think Illinois basketball, you think he won? Last season, his show me the money season. He averages more than a point a game. 3 years, $9 million later, he's been a key in Dallas's run to the West's second-best record. Scored a game-winner overtime on Saturday night. He's back doing the same early in this game. Patty V takes the Broughton pass, and Stefan Fisade beaten. 1-0 Stars and 15 for the Beak. Late in the first, the Kings go on the power play, and check this out. Craig Ludwig, Guy Carbonneau. Nobody's got their stick, so it's really 5-on-2. Still, the Stars, they tackle the man and then clear the zone. 1-0 Stars after 2. Third period, still 1-0. Ed Olczyk. His backhand stop, but Kevin Stephen bangs home the rebound. Tied at 1. In overtime, less than a minute to go. Darian Hatcher's shot, stop, but Neil Broughton banks the rebound home off it. The Stars win it 2-1. Went right in, off the goalie. The Kings, they lose. They didn't take a shot in overtime. Can't win if you don't shoot. Stars' 4th straight home win. Moog had 26 saves. And Verbeek, his 4th straight game with a goal. The Ducks in flames, well, at least in Calgary, late first, no score, Robert Reichel. Then he blasts one past Guy Hebert, his 11th 1-0 Flames. 32 seconds later, no one's on. Aaron Gavey. Behind the net, he waits for Jerome Ingila, and he scores. Ingila 16th, 2-0 Flames. Second period, same score, Theo Fleury. Behind the net, spins on Mironov, and he wraps the pass to Dave Gagne, off the skate and in. 1 of 2 for Gagne. Trevor Kidd was tough. Paul Correa from Teemu Solani, and Trevor Kidd denies. Solani, what do you think? Yeah, I can't believe it. That was an I can't believe it look from Teemu Solani. Anaheim has been held to 2 goals or less in 3 straight games. Solani's 32nd goal extended his goal scoring streak to 3 games, though he would have liked more. Capitals, Oilers, it's all over. The Oilers over the Caps 4-1. Washington failing to beat Edmonton at least once in a season for the first time since 84-85. Edmonton has lost just twice in its last 11 home games.
No Sampras, no Chang, no Agassi, no Martin.
December 19th, Keenan had 3.5 years left on his contract worth $10 million. ESPN's Al Morgana reports that Keenan and the Blues have reached a settlement that will pay Keenan between $5 and $6 million. The two sides agreeing so that Commissioner Gary Bettman didn't have to get involved. On the ice, the Blues 8-4-2 under new coach Joe Quenneville at home to play Phoenix. And St. Louis 0-10-1 when their opponent scored first. And guess what? Just 25 seconds into the game, Craig Janney dropping to Keith Tkachuk. He's got a goal, his 34th of the year, 1-0 Phoenix. Just 2 minutes later, Craig Janney centers to Jeremy Roenick, and he beats Grant Fuhrer right through the 5-hole, 2-0 in favor of Phoenix. Jeremy's pumped, he's excited. Misses Harry York, though. He was so excited he missed a check. Gets up, my bad. My bad. Meanwhile, Nikolai Khabibulin played excellent hockey, stopping Joe Murphy. Later in the first period, Blues down 3-0. Jeff Courtnall skates in all alone. Khabibulin makes a save. Third period, the Blues. Jamie Rivers, the shot off the stick of Coyote Bob Corkum and in there. So it's a 3-2 hockey game. But Corkum would get his revenge. Just over a minute left in the third. Darren Shannon to Corkum, and he's got himself a goal. And Phoenix goes on to win by the final score of 4-2. 2 assists for Craig Janney, Roenick a goal and an assist. Khabibulin had 37 saves, just his second career win in 8 starts against the Blues. In 15 games under new coach Joe Quenneville, the Blues much better on the road than at home. The Blues now just 2-4 in their last 6 at home. One of the big problems, the home power play. The Blues with just 3 power play goals in their last 24 home power play opportunities. The Washington Bullets won. These days are important, especially in the tightly packed West. San Jose is 3 points from the bottom of the entire conference, but only 4 points away from a playoff spot in the 8th position. San Jose at Montreal. The Canadiens in a dogfight as well, 7th in the East, but only 7 points out of last place in the entire conference. All-Star MVP Mark Recchi gets a new car. First period, 1-0 Sharks. Canadiens on the power play. Valerie Bure behind the net. Vincent Damphousse, a wraparound and a goal. Tied at 1. Less than 2 minutes later, Turner Stevenson picks up the loose puck, bangs it in there. Canadiens up 2-1. Sharks down 3-1 after 1. Wade Flaherty in, Kelly Rudy out. Remember, Ed Belfour still hurt, so Flaherty's now the backup. 3-1 Canadiens in the second. Sharks cannot convert on a couple of opportunities there. Flaherty strong in the second. The butterfly save on Damphousse. Sharks, though, can't take advantage. Bernie Nichols sets up. Listen closely. Hit the post. Third period, Sharks come back. 0-1 fires. Theodore can't control the rebound. Doty Wood puts it in there. 3-2 at this point. It's 4-2 Montreal. Todd Gill winds up. Jose Theodore with the save. Covers the rebound. And Montreal holds on to win 4-2. Theodore, a season-high 47 saves. The Canadiens have been sniping about their goaltending. Maybe the rookie Theodore, this was his 10th career start, will be the answer. A goal and 2 assists for Damphousse. Montreal 6-0 lifetime now at home against the Sharks. And you can catch the
Kennedy felt Tuesday night. Back in Calgary, back in the city where he used to play, where he had teammates and friends, where he first revealed the years of sexual abuse he suffered at the hands of former Western Hockey League coach Graham James. James is now in prison, leaving Kennedy imprisoned by his thoughts, his memories, his recovery. His recovery is coming along, but as a Boston Bruin back in Calgary, it's coming along slowly.
It's different meeting people again when you've changed so much. That's always the hardest thing to do, is to handle a pat on the back after you've been abused for so long, you know. That's the only thing that scares me about going to the Dome.
There is Sheldon Kennedy. We're all cheering for you, kid. 21 seconds into the game, German Titov scores the quick goal on Rob Tallis. German's 19th goal of the year, 1-0 Calgary. Second period, Calgary up 3-0 now. Titov with a pass to Steve Chason. One-time magic right past Paxton Schaefer. His fourth, 4-0 Calgary. Still second. Trevor Kidd says, "I glove you, man," off the Ray Bork shot. Kidd had 31 saves. Flames win it 5-1. They get their third straight win, which is a season high. Trevor Kidd was the truth in the second period. 13 saves in that period alone, crowning his 9th straight start. The Bees now winless in the last 4. Colorado, the best home record of the league, hosting L.A. Avalanche launched a team record 29 shots in the first period. Stephane Fiset saved 28 of them, including that one in Keith Jones. But off the rebound, watch Mike Ricci takes the puck off the face. Ricci stunned, but he's a hockey player. A puck to the mug, so what? In the second, game tied at 1. Ricci takes the pass from Keith Deadmarsh. Dead aim, deadly. It's a power play goal, his 6th. Lanch up 2-1. 3-1 in the third. How about some history? Kings dump the puck into Patrick Waugh. Waugh says, "Let me get my hockey swerve on." Can he get it on down the ice towards the net? Oh, he just misses. Chris Osgood was the last goalie to score a goal. Waugh came close. They still didn't need it. Colorado wins it 3-1. The Lanch just battered Fiset, abusing him, as I said, for those 29 shots in the first. For the game, 51 shots he faced. Said Stephane, quote, "I've had games where I faced 50 shots before I turned pro, but not 29 in one period."
Last week's Up Close special gave us a new perspective on...
Rick Bone is facing his old team for the first time as the Islanders head coach. What up, Rick? First period, watch number 2. Rich Pilon in front of the net. He will sprain his medial collateral ligament in his left knee, out at least 7 to 10 days. Second period, Senators down 3-2. Alexander Daig to Alexei Yashin for his second goal of the night. We're tied at 3. Still second. Senators now up 4-3. Steve Duchesne sets up Daig for the goal. 3 goals in 3 minutes and 14 seconds. Senators lead 5-3. Eric Bichon pulled after 2, replaced by Tommy Salo playing with tonsillitis. Third period, 5-3 Senators. Yashin, a chance to put away the game in a record hat trick, but he misses the yawning net. Islanders within 1 goal. Derek King close pass to Marty McGinnis for the equalizer. We're tied at 5. Under a minute left in regulation. Senators chance for the winner. Sean McEachern throws it in front. Salo covers it as the puck trickles towards the net. We stay tied at 5. That's how
Peter Bondra had 2 goals and an assist as the Capitals beat the Canucks 5-2. It's only the second victory in 9 games for the injury-riddled Caps. Vancouver has dropped 7 of 10.
Got to remember for a second.
With Dominic the Dominator Hasek in the Czech Republic for the funeral of his father-in-law. The Sabres started ex-Wolverine Steve Shields in goal Wednesday. So with division rival Montreal in town, one might say, and I will say, the heat was on Shields. Just a little space program pun to intro the highlight. And Shields came up huge, stoning Turner Stevenson, and then Scott Thornton making Red Berenson proud. Okay, at 43 saves in the night. Shields also shown he's not afraid to take a penalty, taking down Darcy Tucker. Tied at 2 in the second period. The physicality continued, if that's a word. Brad May knocks Tucker's helmet right off. Third period, Mike Pekka all alone on the breakaway. Jocelyn Thibault with a huge pad save. 27 seconds left in the third, tied at 2. Martin Rusinski with a chance to win this game. Wide open shot, he shoots it wide. Rusinski says, "Oh, what did I just do?" 2-2 final. Steve Shields, Dominator Jr. He stopped 43 shots as Buffalo stretched its unbeaten streak to 8 games, 4-0-4. Said Coach Ted Nolan, quote, "Steve Shields stood tall." But Habs coach Mario Tremblay said Shields was a little lucky, quote, "Even if he made a few saves with his teeth, he didn't see all of them." Shields also had no idea he was under this type of pressure. If the Sabres had lost, we wouldn't have been able to run a feature about how well they're doing later in the show. So we're going to do that later in the show. The Islanders in the igloo at this point in the show. Mario Lemieux, a frustrating night. Isles up 1-0. Pens on the power play. Tommy Salo stones Lemieux. And then the defense gets in the action. Wide open net for Lemieux, but Brian McCabe comes to Salo's aid. Matt Rhymes. Still 1-0 New York. We're tied at 1 in the second now. Brian Smolinski to Ziggy Palffy. No. Nicholas Anderson, yes. His 7th, 2-1 Islanders. Third period, the Islanders up 4-1, and that's when this game turned slightly chippy. Dan Plant elbows Jason Woolley in the face, and who retaliates but Mario the Goon? And Plant says, I don't care who he is. I'm going to stick one right back at him. Little Donnybrook, and that's where we'll end the highlight. Islanders win 5-1. This is huge, said New York's Travis Green, or he said this is huge. Perhaps the Pens were looking towards this weekend's home-and-home with Philly a bit too early. That shouldn't happen, said Ron Francis. It's only the 6th road win of the season for the Isles. The Penguins fall 2 points behind first-place Buffalo. In the Northeast, the Ning and Panthers battling for Florida ice bragging rights. Panthers trail 1-0 late in the first. Rick Tabaracci gets Gord Murphy's shot from the point. And then Dave Neborowski gets Rick Tabaracci with the rebound. Neborowski's 3rd of the season, and I'm having a tough time saying these names. Except for Robert Schwedla gives the Panthers a 3-2 lead with his 10th. Later in the third, same score. Martin Straka puts a huge move on Igor Ulanov. Wrist one past Tabaracci, Straka 6th. We take a look again and see Straka's check from behind by Jason Weimer right into Tabaracci. Right there. Ouch. Terry Crisp, stoic, perhaps, smelling his pen. Maybe that's the smell of upset. Panthers win 5-2. The young gun struck down the Lightning. 19-year-old Radek Dvorak, 20-year-old Dave Nemirovsky, and 21-year-old Chris Wells all scored. It's a youth movement theme, said John Van Beesbrook, who had 20 saves. The Panthers are unbeaten. All security, we got to fight. Kelly Chase. Stop. Reed Simpson puts the jersey over Chase's head and then starts pelting him in the head. And even Chase can find that funny. Andrew Castle's falling down, hits the open net as Martin Brodeur also falls. We're tied at 2 on that power play goal. Less than 4 minutes left. Dave Andrechuk on the great second effort beats Sean Burke. Career goal number 497 for Andrechuk. Devils win 3-2. It was Andrechuk's. With the Stars 6 points back of West-leading Colorado. Verbeek says, quote, we have to be as desperate as a lot of desperate teams and trying to make the playoffs. Here we go. Rough night. Daryl Sador called for the slashing penalty. That will lead to the Coyotes power play up 1-0 in the first. Teppo Numminen shot. Mike Stapleton got the rebound. Stapleton seconds this season. Then Chris King and Bob Basson. Bad boys, bad boys. What you gonna do? 32 penalty minutes in the second period. Scary moment for the Stars. Top of the screen, Joe Nieuwendyk hit in the face with the puck.
On the pass, and down he goes.
He would bleed profusely, but he would return. He's a hockey guy. Nikolai Khabibulin was the bomb in the net. Grant Ledyard shot. Khabibulin says, don't think so. 25 saves, a total of 11 power plays in this game. Coyotes win it 5-0. Khabibulin, his 3rd shutout of the year, snapping the Stars' 4-game home winning streak, a career against Dallas Nikolai, 7-2-0. Sharks and the Red Wings. First period, Brendan Shanahan feeds to Vladimir Konstantinov, who puts it past Wade Flaherty for the goal. His 3rd this year, 1-0 Red Wings. Second period, more Shanahan. Marcus Ragnarsson turns it over to Igor Larionov, who crosses to Shanny. Shanny, yep. 33rd of the year, 2-0 Detroit. 24 seconds later, another Ragnarsson turnover. Red Wings go tick-tack-toe. Shanny, 34, 3-0. 6.5 minutes later, Red Wings on the power play. Lidstrom to McCarty. Brendan Shanahan is just as cool as the other side of the pillow. Natural hat trick. League-leading 3rd hat trick this year. 2nd in 4 days. Red Wings win at 7-1. 2 games, 6 goals, 2 straight hat tricks for the guy who does great impressions of the Flintstones that are dead on target. Uttered Shanny, the puck was there. You could probably throw a hula hoop around the area where I shot from. Leafs looking for 3 straight wins at Anaheim. They don't get it. Mighty Ducks win at 5-2. Guy Hebert, 39 saves for the Ducks. Paul Karier, Yari Curry, and Roman Aksuda each had a goal and an assist. What form of adversity haven't the Buffalo Sabres faced this season? Front office firings, front office bickering between those who remained. Their top player, Pat LaFontaine, suffered a potentially career-threatening concussion. The Jumbotron scoreboard in their new arena fell from the ceiling, for crying out loud. Nevertheless, look who's atop the Northeast Division.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to meet the Sabres. Jason Daw, 5'9" winger out of North York, Ontario. He is 3rd on the Sabres with 16 goals. Randy Burge, a 12th-year winger from Fort Erie, Ontario. He's second on the Sabres with a 17 plus-minus rating.
Top shelf where Mama hides the cookies.
Matthew Barnaby, a 23-year-old tough guy that puts the puck in the net, too. He is third on the team in points and third in the NHL in penalty minutes.
First priority, get the other guy's helmet off. Barnaby tagged him there.
Who are those guys anyway?
Those guys are just the best team in the Northeast Division right now. An 8-game unbeaten streak has the upstart Sabres checking in with the 5th best record in the NHL, with basically the same team that missed the playoffs by 15 points a year ago.
They're a gritty team, there's no question. We have a lot of grit on our hockey club.
I have no idea what's our secret, but to be honest, I'm surprised.
There's no secret that Dominik Hasek, the 2-time Vezina Trophy winner, is the biggest reason for the Sabres' success. The Dominator is first in the league in wins, second in save percentage, and third in shutouts.
He's the backbone, definitely, of this team. When he's playing on, when he's on, we have a chance to win every night, whether we, sometimes we only need to score 1 goal when goes really on.
And that's all they've gotten some nights. Without a superstar scorer in the lineup, Pat LaFontaine is still inactive after suffering a concussion on November 7th. Buffalo has relied on offense by committee to get the job done. With 7 Sabres in double figures in goals, only the Avalanche, Rangers, and Blues have more players with 10 or more tallies. But Derek Plant, Buffalo's leading scorer with 37 points, ranks 71st overall in the NHL in scoring. Jaromir Jagr and Mario Lemieux have more goals than any Sabre has total points.
We're not the highest scoring team, and we're a team that has a deficiency in shots on goal, and we recognize that.
We have some very raw talent here, talent that's starting to gain experience, and when raw talent starts to gain experience, it melds into a very good hockey team. So I think, this team is growing, and in the future, in the future here, there's going to have a very solid team here in Buffalo.
And the future is now. Ted Nolan, in his first stint as an NHL head coach, has orchestrated the evolution from rebuilding to contending in just a season and a half.
For a coach to give you the confidence to go out there and play hockey is something that we appreciate, and just respect him so much off the ice that it helps.
We might not be the biggest team in the league, and actually we were probably one of the smallest, but I'll tell you what, if you check the heart of some of these guys in our hockey club, they rank right up there with the big guys.
No names or not, the Sabres, for the moment, are one of the big guys. With the continued development of the young talent, just the right mix of experience and inspirational play by the league's hottest goaltender, you may just meet the Sabres yet.
If you can create this chemistry where everybody will kill for the guy on the bench next to him, and hopefully the guy in the office up above him, that's tough to beat.
Buffalo's current 8-game unbeaten streak is its longest such streak in 6 years. Over this stretch, they're basically winning games 2-1, or if you want to nitpick, 2.1 to 1.1. Buffalo's next 4 games: San Jose, Calgary, the Islanders, and Boston, all at home.
Steelers captain Kelly Bookberger gives Sheldon Kennedy a check for the Kennedy Foundation on behalf of the Oilers. Second period tied at 1. Ted Donato's backhand attempt stoned by Curtis Joseph. Cujo 27 saves. Under 10 seconds left in the second, tied at 2. Oilers on the power play. Doug Waite feeds Miloslav Shatan, who schools Rob Tallis. Number 16 for Shatan. Oilers up 3-2 after 2. In the third, tied at 3. Rim Murray stopped by Tallis, but Murray says if at first you don't succeed, backhand at home. His 9th of the year. Oilers win it 4-3. The Oilers finished their 6-game homestand 5-1. Edmonton 2 for 4 in the power play in this one. Boston now 0-4-1 in its last 5 games. It's been 2 months since the horrible...
Back in his basket. Gretzky trying to do that Thursday against his former team, the Blues. His reception.
So a huge chorus of boos for Wayne Gretzky in his first appearance against the Blues.
Have they no respect? Have they no sense of history? Have they no weak goaltenders for the great one to get him a goal? No, he's stuffed again, and the schneid continues. But his ex-teammate, Brett Hull, not stuffed. It's a power play goal. Blues lead it 2-0. But another chance for the great one in the second period. Slap shot just wide. Must put the puck on the net in order to score. It's in the rule books. Later in the second, Brian Leach trips. That allows Jim Campbell to break in alone, beating Mike Richter 3-1 Blues. Colin Campbell taking on some of these St. Louis fans, which is not a good idea, especially when you're in St. Louis and you want to get out of St. Louis alive. Really, when you're on the road anywhere, that's not a good idea. Blues 4-1. Gretzky once again scoreless against his former team. His drought now to 18 games and counting. New York has given up 3 shorthanded tallies in their last 2. The Blues now 9-5-2 under Joel Quenneville. The first place Lanch at the Coyotes. Second period tied at 1. Sandis Ozolinsh drives the slot. Burns Mike Stapleton shoots, scores. That's Sandy for you. 2-1 Colorado. Late in the period, Sandy again. Look at him fly down center ice, splits the defense. Nikolai Hobby-Bulin plays. It's in, it's out, it's in, it's out. Take another look. Norm McIver is there for the clear, but he clears it off the rear end of Nikolai Hobby-Bulin plays. Ozolinch's 18th, 3-1 Colorado. Hello, Numanen. It's Teppo with the shot stopped by Waugh. Keith Kachuk for the rebound, but Waugh the save. Kudos all around. Well, it wasn't Kuja. 27 saves for Waugh. Colorado 3-2. Sandy a pair. 4 of his 18 goals this year have come against the Coyotes. The Lanch have won all 3 meetings against Phoenix this year by a combined score of 13-3.
And home, and apparently the Penguins were all set for it Wednesday night. The one small problem, they had a game with the Islanders that night, and the Isles spanked them in the Igloo 5-1. A lesson perhaps the Flyers took into Thursday night's game with once eminently overlookable Ottawa. The much-improved Senators in Philly go down in front. No score first period. Michael Renberg feeds Eric Lindros. That's a good idea. A moment of trepidation for Eric, however, in the second. Yanni Laukkanen puts a big check on Big Eric, and that's a big problem. Left the game but did return. More physical play. Alexander Daig finds the open door. Now tied at 2 in the third. John LeClair finds Renberg, who really, really needed this goal. Flyers go up 3-2. And we finally found an Ottawa Senator fan in Philadelphia. Right there. Renberg with a goal and assist. This coming after a stretch in which he scored only once in 8 games, said John LeClair, who assisted on Joel Otto's game icing goal. Quote, "We all knew it was just a matter of time for Michael." I feel like I'm talking to myself. Sorry. Whalers and Devils, don't apologize. You don't know what I'm talking about. Whalers and Devils, this from Wednesday night. Sean Burke goes after little Steve Sullivan twice. Thursday night in Jersey, now it's Jason Mazzotti going after the little guy. And I'm sorry I called you a little guy. Sullivan gets the last laugh, though, in the second period. Comes up with a loose puck in front and beats a sprawled out Mazzotti, his 7th. 3-0 Devils. Third period, keep your eye on Martin Brodeur. He gets his stick caught in the net. After all, he says, to heck with that. I'll just stop Gerald Diddick's shot without a stick. That type of night for Brodeur. He faced only 20 Whalers shots, recording his 5th shutout of the season and 17th of his career. Brodeur is a personal 10-game unbeaten streak, and the Devils themselves are now unbeaten in 9 straight. The Oilers and Flames in a burner. Flames win 3-2 in overtime. Calgary has won 4 straight for the first time since 1993-94 season. Elsewhere in Puckdom, Felix Potvin stopped 51 shots for Toronto, but the Leafs could only manage a 4-4 tie with the Kings. Sean O'Donnell scored the tying goal for LA and added 2 assists. Brett.
Maryland may have 18 wins and be in the top.
He shoots, he's gone! 1-0 Blackhawks. Later in the third, Chris LaPuma and Jim Cummins, they're playing the feud. Top 2 answers on the board. Here's your question. Which 2 guys had nothing better to do? Second period, 2-0 Chicago. Chance drops to the former Shark, Michael Sikora, and he beats Rudy 5-hole. Sikora and his new mates win 7-3. All the ex-Sharks perform well in their first United Center appearance. Chris Terreri, 22 saves. Sikora and Ulf Dahlen
had surgery to remove a herniated disc from his back. 125 days after surgery, Friday night, Pupa, who only allowed 2.46 goals a game last year, made his first start. At Washington, not good. Bad night for the Pupa Scooper. Caps on the power play, leading 3-1 in the second. Andrew Burnett gets the loose puck, and Pupa gets pooped. He allowed 4 goals on 18 shots. Caps up 4-1. Burnett's third. That was it for him. Rick Tabaracci comes in. Third period, Greg Berube and Rudy Poshek discuss the American Airlines Clinton-imposed 60-day cooling-off period. They should have taken the advice. Both players left the game. Lightning down 4-2 in the third. Bill Holder with a touchdown, his 4th goal of the year. That cuts the lead to 4-3. A minute 21 later, Tampa Bay in the power play. Paul Eisebart brought in the noise. That tied it at 4, his 2nd of the year. Late third, Joe Ricci crashes right into the boards, fractured his right heel on the play. In overtime, Dale Hunter centers. Steve Konowalchuk, it's all good. His 2nd goal of the game, Caps win at 5-4 in overtime. The Ning now have lost 4 straight in 8 of the last 9. There is one good nugget of info coming out of this game for Tampa Bay. Eisebart's score in the backhander. The Lightning had been 0 for 44 on the power play against Washington since 1995. Detroit's in Dallas. Brendan Shanahan looking for his 3rd consecutive hat trick. First period, Wings up 1-0. Detroit in the power play. Shanahan in front. Money on the one-timer. 7 goals in his last 7 shots. Wings up 2-0. But the Stars come back. In the first, Dallas in the 4-on-3. Pat Verbeek finds Joe Nieuwendyk his 21st of the year. 2 minutes later, Nieuwendyk just enjoying all of it, getting nutty. 22nd of the year, second of the game, tied at 2. Late first, Wings on a 2-man advantage. Darren McCarty, great pass through 2 sticks to Igor Lariano up 3-2 Wings. No goals in the second, just some rough stuff. Todd Harvey sends his Valentine's Day love to Jamie Pusher. Then Joey Koser just doesn't want to let go of Daryl Sador's stick. Get it back.
Couldn't get the
Chris
shot
Draper.
off. Now Sador from the
Love me,
point.
baby. Just come hug me, please. Stars down 1. Urte, the goalie, pulled. 50 seconds left. Sador shoots. Benoit home, crashing through to tip it in. His 13th of the year. We're going into overtime, tied at 3. 2 minutes into overtime. Watch the shadow. Martin Lapointe gets the delayed penalty for taking down Mike Kennedy. But watch Kennedy. He gets up, he hustles, gets the shot off, no, picks up the rebound, and scores. First goal of the year. Overtime game winner. Mike Vernon is ticked. Watch the replay. Kennedy gets pushed by Bob Bassett in front of the goal, able to get his rebound, able to get the goal, able to get all the glory, the love, the Valentine's Day. Just give it to him. Money, everything. Stars win at 4-3. I'm out of breath. I got excited in that. Little Bird, our producer, said, sell the highlight. Bird, I'm selling the highlight. In the last 3 games, Shanahan not only has those 7 goals, but also 3 assists, after 1 of each in this one. With the win, the Stars increased their lead over the Red Wings to 8 points as they complete the season series against Detroit. 4 wins, 2 losses.
A little help, please. Thank you. I am a former NHL netminder. Oh, right there. Thank you, sir. Still got it. I had my goals against average ruined by Jeremy Roenick in the effortless way he moves the puck through traffic. Hey, I'm working this corner, pal. I want back in the NHL. Thank you. Oh, you see that, sir? I got in front of that. I want another shot at Jeremy Roenick and his shiny Nike skates. Ow, that's a save, baby. Right there with the glove hand. Hey, I don't come to your office and stare at you, sir. Thank you. You want change with that nickel?
Francis, the Flyers weren't playing with a full deck Saturday. No Eric Lindros in the first of Philly's home-and-home with Pittsburgh. Lindros strained his lower back and getting seriously checked by a senator Thursday, so no Lindros against the Penguins, no shot, right? Well, no shot was the theme of this game after Lindros tried to warm up but could not play. Early third period, Pens down 2-0. Mario Lemieux's backhand stopped by Ron Hextall. Glenn Murray to Greg Johnson, who puts it past Hextall. And there's something wrong with the puck. It's blue. Just 22 seconds later, the puck is blue, and it's going to be red when Trent Klatt hits Pat Falloon. Falloon's 6th of the year. Flyers lead 3-1. Is like Homer Simpson's job like blown up or something? What happened with this puck?
Isn't that other network?
Peter Nedved feeds Lemieux in front. Hextall makes a great save and then covers up the blue puck. The Flyers allowed only 9 shots on goal over the first 2 periods of this game. Said Ron Hextall, who faced only 18 shots, quote, the team made me look good today. Sunday on ESPN, by the way, these two will play in Pittsburgh, where the Penguins are 10-0-4 in their last 14 against Philly. New York at Chicago. Wayne Gretzky 0 for 1997 in goals. First period, Mark Messier meet Bob Probert. Probert was a factor. Jim Cummins feeds Probert. Glenn Healy makes a little mistake. And Probert takes advantage, wraps it around. Blackhawks up 1-0 on Probert's 7th of the year. Second period on the power play. The Blackhawks make some nice passes. Healy on the puck. Jamnov pokes in the rebound. 2-0 Blackhawks. Jamnov's 11th. And what's with this in the United Center? Rodman throws his jersey in the crowd. Jeff Hackett his stick. Hackett had reason to throw his stick because he made 17 saves for his first shutout of the season. Hackett's only allowed 10 goals in his 6 starts since the Ed Belfour trade. A Blackhawk record crowd of 22,000 plus on hand. They watched Wayne Gretzky go goalless for the 19th straight game.
16 years old and sharing a dentist with Jodie Foster. 16 and hanging out with Shaquille O'Neal before a Laker game. 16
ends. Montreal native and Jersey goalie Martin Brodeur bought several tickets for local well-wishers. Fortunately, Devils coach Jacques Lemaire either had no idea or didn't care about Brodeur's friends and family plan. Lemaire started Mike Dunham instead. Since then, Martin Brodeur's played like a madman. 4-0-1 to extend his personal unbeaten streak to 10 games. Needless to say, Brodeur did get the start this Saturday night. Chris Murray breaks in, and there Brodeur is there to stone him. Meanwhile, Dave Andreychuk working behind the Montreal net, grinding, getting smacked around by Craig Rivet. Doesn't matter. Still keeps the puck and feeds Bobby Holik for the goal. That's working hard, and it pays off. 1-0 Devils. It's 3-1 Devils in the second. Dennis Peterson across the blue line. Nice move on David Wilkie. Beats Jocelyn Thibault. Devils lead 4-1, and, you know, they win by that score. A sellout crowd of 21,000 plus at the Keg saw their native son, Brodeur, become the winningest goaltender in Devils franchise history. Brodeur is now unbeaten in 11 straight games. His team unbeaten in 10 straight. Andrechuk worked hard, 2 assists. He's still 3 goals shy of 500 for his career. Back to Brodeur. This is how you stay unbeaten in 11 straight. A 1.46 goals against average, lowering his league best GAA to 2.05. That save percentage of .940 ain't too shabby either. Brodeur's 25 wins rank him 4th among NHL goalies. The Panthers on Long Island. Hey, there's Billy Smith on hand for Memories Night. And it would be a big goalie night on Memories Night. Terry Kartner, saved by Tommy Salo. Jason Podolin, the putback, robbed by Salo. 1 minute left in the third. Behind the net, it's Claude Lapointe on the steal to Nicholas Anderson. Mark Fitzpatrick comes up with a big save. We go into overtime. On the pass, Johan Garpenlov is going to lose the puck. I'm way ahead of myself. See, right there, he lost the puck. Now I'm on target. Dan Plante to Claude Lapointe. In overtime, he shoots. He scores! The Islanders win 1-0 on Memories Night in front of Billy Smith and all. Tommy Salo stopped 29 shots for his 3rd shutout of the season. It's only the 2nd time Long Island has beaten the Panthers in 9 tries at the Coliseum. The Panthers dropped 3 points behind first place Philly in the Atlantic, Stewart.
He's as tough as his nickname, but not tough enough to come back.
I hope you brought your receipt. Nelson Emerson brought his Keith Primo. And he scores the second of the period, and his celebration needs a little work. Let's go! The Whalers win 2-1. Colorado at St. Louis. Lance trail 1-0 in the first when Valerie Kamensky gets the rebound of the shot and beats Grant Fuhrer for a power play goal. Tied at 1 after 1 in the second period. Mike Ricci takes the pass in front and wraps the quick turnaround shot past Grant Fuhrer. Lance score 4 straight, win 5-2. Boston at Phoenix. Time running out in regulation. Brian Richter off the screen in front, and he scores and puts it into overtime with 3.4 seconds left. But in overtime, Jason Moore's slapper gets through a whole bunch of traffic and beats Bill Radford. Phoenix win 5-4 in overtime. Washington at Tampa Bay. Phil Esposito has a few choice words for the referees, and whoa, either that or the food wasn't too good in the box. Lightning persevered. Dino Ciccarelli, the cross-ice pass to Corey Cross for the slapper in the goal. Tampa Bay wins 4-1. Let's go to Calgary. Leafs at Flames. Jonas Höglander barrels through the Toronto defense for a splendid goal. Trevor Kidd gets his 10th career shutout, 3-0. Calgary wins. Elsewhere, the LA Kings tie the Oilers in the Great Western Forum. Congratulations to King trainer Pete Demers, worked his 2,000th consecutive game. He's the Cal Ripken of trainers. And the Canucks double up the Ducks. Kirk McLean stopped 19 shots to improve to 7-2 lifetime against the Ducks, Stewart.
One night after beating Joyzy in D.C., Bullets trying to beat Joyzy in...
Off the hockey segment in the sport's 2 biggest collections of Miss Lonely Hearts. The Detroit Red Wings, swept in the 1995 Cup Finals by Jersey, visited the Florida Panthers, swept in the 1996 Cup Finals by Colorado. Each team in second in its respective division. Robert Svela, no defense on him, and off a partial screen beats Osgood like a rented goalie. Second power play goal of the game, 2-1 Florida. Later in the second, tied at 2. Nicholas Lidstrom out to Darren McCarty, backhander, past the Beezer, 3-2. Detroit leading now. Doug McLean's 3 goals. Come here, you're all fired. And Detroit gets physical. Vyacheslav Fetisov says hello to Jason Podolin. And once again, a meeting of the minds there. And Podolin wants to know, anybody get the number of that Red Wing? What the heck's going on here? No penalty called. McLean says, I do not look like Brian Hill. Wings 4-2. They won 5, tied 1 out of their last 9. Even the series with the Panthers this year at 1 apiece. First Florida loss against a Central Division foe all year in 8 games, a goal and 2 assists for Yzerman. The genuine surprise of the year in the NHL, the Sabres hosting San Jose, the return of Dominic Hasek. 1-0 Buffalo. Derek Plant, Donald Odette. He puts the biscuit in the basket. 2-0 Sabres. 5 minutes later, Zhipnik. They stop and stuff Zhipnik. But Jason Daw furs. That's the new word for goal now. 3-0 Sabres. Granato stopped by Hasek, who's back after a death in the family. Hasek again in the third. Robs Owen Nolan twice. 31 saves in his return. Sabres 6-2. A 5-0-4 run, the franchise's longest unbeaten streak in 7 years. Sabres lead the league in shorthanded goals. Ward got their 11th. Sabres are now 4 points over Pittsburgh in the Northeast.
Was only able to squeeze off 1 shot in the Pens' 5-1 loss in Philadelphia. On Sunday night, the 2 teams staged the sequel at the Igloo. And as scripted, Jágr, using Paul Coffey as a screen, beats Garth Snow through the 5-hole. Jágr's 45th, 1-0 Pens. Scary moment here. Darius Kasparaitis takes a skate to the face. He was cut, but he's a hockey player. He stayed in. Danis Zubris came down with a case of Kasperitis. John LeClaire. Flyers down 2-1. Beats Patrick Lalline in a 5-hole. Tied at 2. Trent Klatt skates in, beats Lalline. Klatt second of the game, 3-2 Flyers. Pens, power play opportunity. Mario Lemieux, Stu Barnes. Great sprawling save by Garth Snow. Jaromir Jagr, sore groin, left the game. Mario Lemieux left, reportedly with back spasms. No word on their conditions from the Pittsburgh side of things. But the condition of the Flyers, they were awesome in the third period. 6-2, the final. Flyers' first win in Pittsburgh since November of 1990, snapping a 14-game winless streak. To Ottawa, the Senators and the Whale. Lance Pitlick gets a charging penalty for this check on Sami Kapanen. The Whale can't convert with the two-man advantages in the second. And then Damian Rhodes sprawls to make a rebound save on Paul Ranheim. It's 2-1 Ottawa in the third. Alexei Yashin says, ball game. 28th. That's a car horn there. I don't like that. Let's get our organ in gear there.
How do you mean that?
4-2 the final. The Whale failed to win consecutive games for the first time in almost a month. This marked the 15th time in the last 17 games Hartford has been held to 3 goals or less. Still to come on the Blockbuster Big Show, Life is the Pit.
Twice they've come away with 4-1 wins. Tony Amonte trying to break a 6-game scoring drought. Breaks in on Grant Fuhr. I'll grant you nothing. You're at 20 saves. Don't, Tony. Tony, it's just a game. Don't. He needs a hug. A point will do, and he gets it. Then 2-on-1, the pass to Dahlin. That's Dahlin's 13th. We're tied at 2. Second period, 2-man advantage for St. Louis. Pierre Turgeon, butter. His 18th of the year. Blues win at 4-2. Blackhawks, when they're at the kill center, the winning team scores 4. Again, this time, though, it's the home team, as the Blues beat the Blackhawks for the first time in 5 tries this season. It's also their first home win over Chicago since April of '94. Devils looking for a franchise record, 11 straight unbeaten at the Rangers. Second period, 1-0 Devils. The shot is blocked. The Rangers cannot poke it in. It's 1-0 Rangers. Rangers on the attack again. Gretzky skates with the puck behind the net. Passes it off the net to Nicholas Sundstrom. We got to look at that again. Watch. Gretzky off the net. He planned that pass.
Oh, my goodness.
He might not have scored in 20 games, but he is still huge. Third period, still tied. John McClain with the puck behind the net. Passes from his knees to Valery Zelepukin, who schools Mike Richter. Zelepukin's 9th. Rangers come right back. Gretzky again behind the net. Towards the slot, the puck deflected off Brian Noonan's stick past Brodeur. Don't listen to the announcer. He doesn't break the drought. The goal credited to Noonan. Game ends in a 2-2 tie. Devils franchise record, 11 straight without a loss. Martin Brodeur, 12 straight without a loss. Brodeur says, quote, when you go undefeated for so many games, it's not one guy's shoulders. A lot of guys contribute. Still on the way, the big unit may not be where he was at the end.
Concerned about efficiency ratings, but Motowners need not worry about Brendan Shanahan. The Red Wings winger, your current league leader in power play goals by a wide margin, has scored 7 times on his last 8 shots. Overall, Shanny has 16 goals in his last 16 games. The Wings in Tampa Monday night, and Shanny scored again. Third period, Red Wings lead 3-2. Seconds left. Steve Yzerman can ice it with the open net. For some reason, hangs on. John Cullen blocks his shot. So maybe Bob Rouse can hit the empty net. Rouse shoots it wide. Sergei Fedorov shot hits the side of the net. What's going on here? Then Rouse's shot is blocked by Bill Holder. Maybe Tampa should play with nobody in goal the whole game. Lightning finally ice the puck. Sean Burr forces Mike Vernon to play for it, and then Burr feeds Damon Langkow, and he hits the empty net. Seriously. Scotty Bowman has now seen it all. This game ends in a 3-3 tie. And Bowman was pragmatic after the game. Quote, it's a point and it's nothing more than that, he said. Vernon made a decision and you have to live with it. I don't finger a player. Shanahan's goal was, of course, a power play goal. He's done that now in 5 straight games. Mike Modano's goal with 2:03 left in regulation gave the Stars a 2-1 victory over the Kings in the Great Western Forum. Andy Moog made 34 saves to improve his unbeaten streak against the Kings to 7 games. It's the 18th road win of the season for the Stars.
What do you call a young
short-handed? Paul Correa with the wrister. And he beats Cujo 5-hole. Korea's 27th. Mighty Ducks up 3-0 after the first. Second period, more Mighty Ducks. Steve Ruchin off the face-off. Bobby Dallas shoots. Ruchin scores. Cujo is so upset. Hassan chop. Mighty Ducks win 5-1. 6 games in all on President's Day, which is fine because, as Felix Unger would say, it's a well-known cup. It should say Islanders. There's no S. And there's no S in Mark Recchi either. I needed to segue somehow.
That was
not good. Recchi's 27th ties the game at 1. A $1.39 later, Martin Rusinski gets the puck behind the net, shoots. Tommy Salo saves, but Valerie Bure is there to tip it in. Bure's 10th, 2-1 Canadians. Montreal's Jose Theodore was tough. Stops Brian Berard not once but twice, and then Zygmunt Palffy from the corner, and then stops Travis Green from up top. 36 huge saves for Theodore as the Canadians win 4-1. The loss kept the Islanders 4 points behind 8th place Washington and dropped them 7 shoulders. It's a positive for everyone. Talk about positive. The Lanch also got the injured Joe Sakic back Tuesday, but that wasn't very positive for the Boston Bruins, who had to see Joe Sakic healthy and on the ice. First period, Avalanche up 1. Watch Patrick Waugh nail Sheldon Kennedy coming out of the net. Waugh busted, saying, "Well, what do you want from me? I just hit the guy." Take another look. Waugh gets called for interference. Second period, Avalanche up 2-1. Joe Sakic gets the centering pass, and he scores! But wait, upon further review, they find out that there's a spot shadow on the ice. Actually, that's Claude Lemieux getting called for a high stick. No goal. Sakic bumming. Still in the second period, Jeff Odgers goes up top on Rene Corbet, and we show that just for the gratuitous violence aspect of the highlight. Third period, Bruins coming back, still down 2-1. Ted Donato ties the game at 2. We go to overtime with just 10 seconds left. Joe Sakic, a huge play, keeping it in the zone, and allows Claude Lemieux to beat Bill Ranford with just 3.8 ticks left. Look at it again. Ranford tries a last-ditch effort to save it, but to no avail. The Avalanche win 3-2 in overtime. Said Lemieux of his game winner, quote, "Joey," meaning Sakic, "threw a lot of rubber at the net. Peter," meaning Forsberg, "took a whack at it, and it seemed like slow motion." The Forsberg money wasn't the only cash thrown around Denver. The Avalanche gave $16,500 to the Sheldon Kennedy Foundation for abused children. The Stars in San Jose, second period, Tony Granato gets hit in the face with a high stick by Daryl Sidor. Sidor received a 4-minute high sticking penalty. Granato would bounce back, tied at 1. He beats the former Shark Arturs Urbe. Sharks lead 2-1 after 2. Third period, same score. Sergei Zubov beats Brent Gilchrist for the apparent game-tying goal, but let's look at it again because the net was off the moorings. Kerry Fraser looks at it, and even though you see clearly that Doty Wood just takes the net off the moorings, they still called it a no-goal, and no penalty was called either. Coach Hitchcock stoic. The Sharks edit an empty netter 3-1. Kelly Rudy with 29 saves for San Jose. Ironically, the Stars have the third best record in the NHL. The Sharks have the third worst record in the Western Conference, but the Sharks swept the 4-game season series. Go figure, Stewie.
You'd expect Arkansas to be leading the SEC. When Scrudland found Wooley's sneakers and Barnes' skates and cut the laces right down the middle. That's sneaky Scrudland. And in the Igloo, Woolley had to wonder if Scrudland was behind this, too. Probably couldn't do that again if Woolley tried. First period, scoreless Pens on the power play. Peter Nedved puts one in front. Joe Mullen deflects it past the Beezer for career goal number 499. 1-0 Penguins were tied at 1 in the second. Tom Fitzgerald finds Mike Huff streaking to the net. Through Ken Reggett, his 6th of the year. Huff's goal puts the Panthers within, gives the Panthers a 2-1 lead. Halfway through the third, same score. Rob Niedermeyer stoned by a sprawling Reggett. We're going the other way. Mario Lemieux finds Greg Johnson, who spins and finds Glenn Murray for his 8th goal. We're tied at 2. Patrick Lalime on the bench with Reggett in the game. Lalime talking up a storm. All right, enough already. Pens put it away. The power play expires. Lemieux from a sick angle. His 40th of the year, he would add an empty netter for number 41. The Penguins win 4-2. Lemieux has now beaten John Van Beesbrook 28 times in his career, the most goals he scored against any goalie. Despite his 2-goal night, Lemieux credited Ken Reggett's sprawling save on Niedermeyer's shot as, quote, "the key to the game that turned the game around." Florida's lost 3 straights. Calgary and Buffalo. Dominik Hasek doing this usual thing, robbing Aaron Gavey with his stick. Check it out again from up top. The puck does not cross the line. Hasek's stick redirects it. Unbelievable. Second period game tied at 3. Things getting a little chippy. Theo Fleury, Darryl Shannon playing the feud. Fleury takes a swing and misses, thankfully. Third period, we're still tied at 3. Sabres shorthanded. Mike Pekka intercepts Yves Racine's pass and puts the Sabres up 4-3. It's now 5-3 later in the third. Calgary's Corey Stillman on the breakaway. Robbed by Hasek, who comes out all the way almost to the blue line. 2 minutes left.
Buffalo with the 2-goal lead with Hasek in net. That's usually money in the bank, right? Well, Ron Stern puts in the rebound. Hasek didn't even know it, went past him. Dominic, it's behind you. 27 seconds later, the Sabres can't clear the puck. Gaby wins the scramble in front of the net, and he shoots the goal. Game ends in a 5-5 tie after overtime is fruitless. A rare rough night for the Dominator. It's the first time Hasek's given up at least 5 goals since January 25th, Buffalo's last loss. Despite the late comeback, Flames coach Pierre Pagé said, quote, "I'd like to think that when you score 5 goals on Hasek, it should be 2 points. The Senators in Washington, I've been waiting weeks to say that." Ron Tugnut in goal. Peter Bondra, rough night. Yanni Luukkonen takes him down, and the second Ottawa up 1-0, Caps 2-on-1. Todd Krieger shot. Deflected away by Tugnut, who was a brick wall. He had 31 saves. Still in the second, we're tied at 1. Roddick Bonk slides the puck past 2 defenders to Daniel Alfredson, his 21st. Puts the Senators up, and the Senators ran away with it, 6-1. Ron Tugnut made 31 saves as he beat the Caps for the 3rd time this season. The injury-riddled Caps lost Joey Juneau again with a rotator cuff injury. He'll be out 7 to 10 days. Washington is 1-5 in its last 6 home games, Stuart.
Streaks, lists, it's our sportscaster credo.
Previous 120 games. Why do you think we're telling you that? Jason Moore shoots. Jim McKenzie scores. McKenzie's 2nd goal of the season. Coyotes up 2-0. Still in the first period, Mike Gartner shoots. McKenzie scores. Coyotes up 4-0 after the first. Second period, McKenzie, you betcha, gets the hat trick. Coyotes win 6-1, and as you might imagine, Kings coach Larry Robinson didn't enjoy the Jim McKenzie show. We gave him 3 wide-open chances, he said. In other action around the...
So went to Vancouver, and thanks to 2 Doug Gilmour goals, came out with the win. Leafs head coach Gilmour, quote, "He outplayed everybody on the ice. Sometimes he doesn't get nearly the credit or attention he deserves." In this... It's the longest drought of Wayne Gretzky's career, but this is why he's so great. No goals in those 20 games, but 23 assists. Still, he'd like to break that drought, not for his ego, but, quote, "just so I don't have to talk about it," end quote. Rangers at Joyzy, a team-on-a-team record 11-game unbeaten run. Gretzky once averaged 1.18 goals a game for a year. Trying to end the drought in the first. This Gretzky should have been a goal. It's always a goal, but how does that hit the post and ring out? No goals now in 21 games, even he can't believe it. Martin Brodeur unbeaten in his last 12, facing the Rangers shorthanded. Mike Eastwood breaks in, sprawling save by Brodeur. Then Brodeur skate, saves it on his own. The skate has a mind of its own. 21 saves for Brodeur, his skate had 1. Doubles up 1-0 in the second, more Brodeur. Not here, he tells Adam Graves. Adam would later say if he can see the puck, he's going to stop it. 6:20 left in the third, tied at 1. Mark Messier to Adam Graves, off Brodeur, off the post. Close call. Mike Richter was the bomb as well. 3 minutes left, tied at 1. Richter robs Bobby Holik all alone in front. We're going to overtime. In the extra frame, Valerie Zelapukin, great pass to John McClain, breaks in, but Richter says, "I'm better than you and I can prove it." He had 31 saves. They were hype, both goalies were. 20 seconds left in overtime. Wild finish. Rangers on a 3-on-2, but Sean Chambers says, "Let me break up this noise." Devils come back the other way, 4-1. McClain to Scott Stevens. Stevens elects to try on Richter. Come on. Mike's in the house. He has stopped 97% of shots against the Devils this year. Devils and Rangers end up in a 1-1 tie. Adam Graves scored a goal, his NHL high 5th game-tying goal of the year. So the home-and-home series ends the way it began, a tie. Mike Richter, 159 shots he's faced against the Devils, Rich, 155 saves. The Whale in Philly, Paul Coffey's first game against his old team. They exact some revenge. Nelson Emerson's shot hits Coffey in the ankle. Coffey would leave the game, but would return later. Tough one. Curtis Lucian bum rushes Dana Zubris into the Whale bench. Get out of here. More physical play. Goalie Garth Snow jacked up by Stephen Rice. Snow jacks up Stephen Rice. Rice airborne. He hits the post. Kevin Dineen came into the game looking like this. Second period, Flyers down 1-0 on the power play. John LeClaire schools Jason Mazzotti. LeClaire's 36th of the year. We're tied at 1. Still second. Flyers up 2-1. Flyer turnover. Paul Ranheim finds Dineen like Nas. If I ruled the world. Dineen second of the night. We're tied at 2. Third period, same score. Mazzotti, all of that. Robs LeClaire. He would have none of it. It would end in a 2-2 tie. Jason Mazzotti, 23 saves. Said Whalers coach Paul Maurice of Mazzotti, quote, "He wasn't laying down on his back, picking them out of the air. He looked confident. Mazzotti himself, not so sure. I think in a few of the LeClaire's, I just closed my eyes and stuck my glove out." The Minnesota Greek first period, Motown goes to work. Stevie Y, shake and bake, no, but Tomas Sandstrom had his back. Sandstrom's 12th, Red Wings up 1-0. Second period, Detroit up 2-0, looking for more. Behind the net, Yzerman to Kozlov to Sandstrom to the net. His second of the night, Stevie Y has 3 assists. Third period, Trevor Kidd comes to life. Chris Draper steals the puck, breaks in on Kidd. Nope. Trevor had 34 saves, but Detroit too strong. Up 4-0 in the third. Dave Gagne a chance in front, but Chris Osgood says, it's my world. You're just a squirrel trying to get that nut. Osgood, 28 saves, 5th shutout of the season. Red Wings win it 4-0. 13th shutout of his career. Kidd's also 4-1 in his last 5 starts. Not Kidd, Trevor Kidd, but Kidd is a nickname for Osgood. Calgary's 6-game unbeaten streak in the history book. Stevie Y, who played his regular season game number 1,000, has 11 assists in the last 6 games. Loses in the Jeff for a busy night. First period, Oilers up 1-0. Mariusz Czerkawski, great move around the defense. Czerkawski, his 2nd career hat trick. The Leafs would not die. Get those hats off. Thank you. Trailing 6-4 in the third, Mike Murphy calls timeout. The Leafs respond on the power play. Wendell Clark makes Curtis Joseph toast. It's a 6-5 game, but they weren't through. Less than 2 minutes left. Frederick Modine from point-blank range shoots wide. Ron Lowe. Actually, it was more like... Oilers survive 6-5 in the final. This is Edmonton's first win in 4 games. Elsewhere around the league Wednesday, Mike...
The Panthers, the 3rd stingiest team in the NHL. The Devils and Panthers, 2 similar teams with 2 similar styles going in 2 different directions. Jersey hasn't lost in 12 games. Florida hasn't won in 3 games. 2nd place in the Atlantic, 2nd in the conference, up for grabs Thursday night. Jacques Lemaire, he's one cool customer. First period scoreless game. Pascal Réaume, whose sister is Manon Réaume, scores his first career NHL goal, and I'm smelling a did you know. We go straight to the overtime, tied at 2, and Steve Thomas hits Jody Hull in the face of the stick in front of the ref, and no penalty is called. That's a good no call. Good no call. Hull left the game with a bloody face. Referee Dave Jackson remained. Later in overtime, Mike Huff shoots. Martin Brodeur standing on his head. The puck gets passed, but Brian Ralston is there to clear it. And Dave Jackson swallows his whistle in the extra period, and the game ends in a 2-2 tie. So both teams now have 70 points apiece, tied for 2nd in the Atlantic, tied for 2nd in the conference with Buffalo. Mark Fitzpatrick stopped 24 of 26 shots. Brodeur with 25 saves extends his personal unbeaten streak to 14 games, and the team extended its unbeaten streak to 13. The Devils have more ties than wins during this franchise best rip. They've scored 39 times, allowing only 22 goals in 13 games. During the streak, only the Panthers on Thursday night have outshot the Devils, and Jersey's killing off 91% of its penalties. Staying in Florida for the Flyers and Lightning. Happy birthday, Phil Esposito, celebrating his 55th on Thursday. First period, an offensive explosion. Chris Gratton gives Espo a happy birthday. 2 teams combined for 3 goals in the first buck 5. Lightning led 2-1. And then still in the first, Dino Ciccarelli scores the 574th goal of his career. More on that in a moment. Things getting chippy in the second. Sean Burr unloads on Pat Falloon. Rick Tabaracci stones Chris Therien, not 1 but twice. He had 28 saves. Terry Murray, take your hands slowly out of your jacket, sir. As the Lightning win 5-2, Damon Langkow and Chris Gratton each with a goal and assist as Tampa Bay snaps the Flyers' 4-game unbeaten streak. Langkow scored at least 1 point in his last 4 games. Ciccarelli, as you saw, scored the 574th goal of his career, moving him past Mike Bossy for 9th place on the all-time list. To the Avalanche, quote, "We're never going to win. It's sickening. It's a joke. I'm sick of it." The Bruins winger continued, pointing the finger at management. Quote, "Are we rebuilding? What are we doing? What direction are we going in? Every other team tries. We don't even try." End quote. Bruins management responded Thursday by stripping Adam Oates of his A. No, he's not Damn Oates now, although Bruins brass might be referring to him as such. No, they took the assistant captaincy away from him. See, no A on his uniform against the Blackhawks. Second period, a physical game. Sandy Moger smacks Chris Chelios right in the kisser. Chelios with a bloody mouth. Third period, the Blackhawks up 3-1. Dean Chenault frees up the puck, and Sheldon Kennedy takes advantage. He shoots his gun. Past Jeff Hackett, Bruins down just 1. Ray Bourque and Tony Amonte battling it out. Amonte idolized Ray Bourque, but he beats him. Hey, it's a business. Chicago goes on to win it 5-3. Oates may have lost his A, but he got one in this game. An assist on Ted Donato's goal. Oates has recorded a point in 20 straight games now. Said Oates, quote, "It was a tough day. there was a lot of stress, end quote. The Bruins are winless in 8 straight, their longest such streak since 1984. The Senators and Blues skated to a 1-1 tie. Jim Campbell scored his 21st goal for St. Louis, tops among NHL rookies. Radek Bonk scored the lone goal for Ottawa. The Blues now 10-6-3 under Joel Quenneville. This game had only 6 penalties. Coming up, he's a
Kings, our boss, Michael Eisner, taking in the game. Hey, boss, how are you? All right, I'm kissing
Oh, come on.
He cannot like Aki Berg hitting Darren Van Imp from behind. Second period, tie to 1. If you don't think Ray Ferraro makes a great spinning pass and Roman Bopat, his first goal of the year, you better recognize. Kings up 2-1, just over 10 minutes left in the third. JF jump on the breakaway, beats Fassé, but it hits the post. Kings would add a late goal, they'd win it 3-1. Rookie Jeff Chevalier, recalled with Bopat a week and a half ago, scored 2 goals in a brawl-filled game. Elsewhere on the ice, on his 55th birthday, Phil Esposito watched his name clip the Flyers.
30, a healthy scratch. Wade Flaherty between the pipes. He got to see streaking Russians. Alexander Mogilny all alone. Oh, that's just not any way to help out your goalie. Canucks up 4-1 now. Pavel Bure. Bure's 23rd. Mogilny again. Martin Gelinata Mogilny. Mogilny's 26th goal of the year. The Canucks cruise 6-1. Vancouver converted on 3 of 5 power play opportunities. The Canucks are 3-1 versus the Sharks this season and 9-6-2 all time. In San Jose, the Sharks are just 1-5-1 in their last 7 games. When Stewart and I return.
While Bo lasted all of 3 days of actual training, Gretzky has been putting up donuts since December the 30th, a span of 21 games. While Bo can now go back to eating his donuts, Gretzky is trying to get rid of his. Rangers and the Whalers, New York winless in their last 5. And look at this. After a Whaler goal, Mark Messier with a little chop to the ribs of Kevin Haller. Let's get ready to rumble, everybody. Second period, Rangers turn it over. Keith Primo, 2-0, and Primo scores. Whalers go up 4-0. Primo's 18, 5-0 now. And Wayne Gretzky does break that long drought. First goal in 21 games, but it's a 5-1 game now. The Rangers are out of it. More from the Whale. Andrew Castles finding Glenn Wesley, who beats Glenn Healy. And it's all Whalers, 6-1. Stu Grimson, the Grim Reaper, working over Darren Langdon. And Langdon wants to go at him with a stick. And Stu is not really sympathetic there. That may be the best shot we've seen in a long time. That's mock sympathy, 7-2 Whale. The Whalers had goals from 7 different players and matched their season high for a game with 7. Gretzky finally did break his streak, but he said that was meaningless. As Wayne himself put it, the way we lost, it was just a lackluster effort all the way around. Now, what's up with the Rangers? They've fallen apart in their last 22 games, winning only 8 of them. Earlier this season, they were 6-6 in 1-goal games. That has dropped to 1-3 lately. They can't win the tight ones. Gretzky's assist totals are fine in both cases, but the drop-off in goals has been both dramatic and traumatic for the Rangers. Brett?
Now, the news here, those 4 games, that is really, really good. Game 5 on Friday, first period, 1-0 Oilers. Kevin Lowe fakes by Mike Keane, then shoots and beats Waugh, not in keeping with what I just read. Edmonton up 2. Second period, Valerie Kamensky passes to Joe Sakic for the slapper, but Cujo there to make the save. More of this in the second. Mike Greer slams Peter Forsberg into the boards, and watch Brent Severin taking exception from the other side of the boards. I checked the rules. I checked. It's not legal. Late in the period, Severin on the break shoots. Look at Cujo with the pad sprawling. He had 44 saves in the game, so you get what you reap. And then, yes, the Donnybrook, the melee. Cats and dogs living together. We would then have the usual summit at Yalta. They'd sort it out. Don't they always? 5 seconds left in regulation on a power play. Kamensky works it in front. Sakic tips it. Look at the time on the clock. We've got a tie game. We're going to it. Hugs all around. We're going to overtime. 2.5 minutes in, Alexei Gusarov centers Mike Ricci, and they go from having a big fat loss with a second on the clock to having a big fat win, 4-3 in the extra frame. The game winner for Ricci was his 2nd goal of the night. It gave Colorado their 5th straight win. Patrick Waugh, now undefeated in his last 5 against Edmonton, and Colorado undefeated in their last 8 against Edmonton. The Flames and Stars in Big D. Tommy Albalin doesn't play for the Stars, but he was seeing them right after that. Hello, Bob Bassin. Second period, Stars trailing 1-0. Flames send it in. Andy Moog behind the net passes it along the boards to Guy Carbonneau. Then the pass off the boards to Sergei Zubov. Backhands it and bangs it in.
That would be an assist on the other end all the way back to Andy Moog. More on that in a sec. 4 minutes later, Bassin with the wrister off the post and off of Trevor Kidd and into the net. Stars 2-1. They win it 4-2. Andy Moog collecting both his 356th career win and his 24th career assist on that Zubov goal. Moog also had 25 saves, oh, by the way, as the Stars remain undefeated in their last 5 meetings with Calgary. Larry.
When he first of the dominator lately, the Sabres goalie had a string of 9 straight games in which he allowed 2 goals or less. And then on Tuesday, the roof suddenly fell in. Hasek allowed 5 against Calgary. But he still didn't lose because they tied the Flames 5-5. Buffalo looking to extend their unbeaten streak to 11 games as they hosted the Islanders, and there is the dominator. But first, we flash back to Tuesday night's game against the Flames. Watch Hasek come way out to near the blue line, denying Corey Stillman on the breakaway. Why do we show you that? Because it happened again Friday, breaking up Todd Bertuzzi's pass. But look at the shot. Oh, into the net. However, Brian Smolinski in the crease, no goal. Wipe it out. More from Hasek. Here's Brian Berard in front. Denied. 34 saves for the dominator. Second period, Brad May. Slap me. And he beats Tommy Salo.
3-0 Sabres.
There's the horn. And there's the Sabre victory, 5-2. The Sabres stretched their unbeaten streak to 11 games. Jason Doss scored a goal, set up another. Hasek 34 saves. Buffalo now 5 points ahead of Pittsburgh atop the Northeast Division. Brett?
Now, as far as we can tell, the closest Riddick Bowen leading Philly Flyers jolted in Tampa Thursday. Today they played a Panther team. They led by just 5 points and would be getting a jolt of their own. And the return of Captain Brian Skrudland and star defenseman Ed Jovanovski. Best home team in the East against the beast of the East on the road. Jovanovski getting an unfriendly welcome back from Eric Lindros. But the fans are glad to see Jovo caught back scoreless in the first. Panthers get some help off of Joel Otto's skate. Martin Straka gets the goal past Garth Snow. 1-0 Panthers. Still 1-0 in the second. Flyer power play. Lindros the shot. John LeClair's 37 ties the game at 1. Off the ensuing face-off, LeClair breaks in again. Watch the Beezers keep it away. This would tie the game at 3. Heads to overtime. Less than a minute left. Watch Lindros deflect the Eric Desjardins shot for the game winner, his 20th goal. He also had 2 assists, Lindros. Oh, rats. The Panthers lose this one 4-3. The loss extending Florida's longest winless streak of the season to 5. But Jovanovski did have his first career 2-goal game. His first goal since December 15th. Flyer backup goalie Garth Snow now unbeaten in his last 13. The blazing Blackhawks in the Igloo to fight the floundering Penguins. Second period, Chicago up 1-0. Tony Amonte. Alexei Zhamnov sets him out front. Amonte gets his 33rd of the year. Mario Lemieux coming into the day 1 point behind Stan Mikita for 6th on the all-time point list. Later in the second, Lemieux gets the rebound off the slap shot by Hatcher, puts it by Jeff Hackett to tie Mikita. 3.5 minutes later, Lemieux again. The slap shot from the impossible angle. And he moves into 6th place all by himself, tying the game at 2 under 20 seconds left in the second period. Chelios picks up the loose puck, throws it on net. Ethan Moreau tips it by Ken Reggett. Chicago back up 3-2. Jeff Hackett would hold the fort the rest of the way. Penguins don't get a shot for the first 8.5 minutes of the third period, and when they do, they get stuffed. Mario and the Penguins watch Chicago win it 5-2. It's the Hawks' first win in Pittsburgh since March of '91. It's also their 5th win in their last 6. Penguins have lost 5 out of their last 6. They really miss Jaromir Jagr. Who wouldn't? He sat out his second straight game with a groin injury and is expected to miss Sunday's game with the Islanders.
Wayne Sports Center continues 2 streaking forces on a... leading us to wonder, what would Stevens put in his mouth if the Devils beat the Lightning? In the Ice Palace, Saturday nights. Tied at 1 in the second period. Rob Zamner to Chris Groton, who shoots and scores on Martin Brodeur, and that's all you need to see because the final was 3-1. The Nings snapping New Jersey's 13-game unbeaten streak. Nobody saw Stevens after the game. Tampa Bay have gotten good at breaking streaks. They halted Philly's 17-game run and Colorado's 12-game sizzle earlier this season. The Ning now have 3 wins and a tie in their last 4 games. The Caps and Whalers, no score in the first. Sammy Kepinen's shot stopped by Jim Carey. But stay with the play, stay with the play. Kepinen to Jeff Sanderson. and Kapanen would ultimately put it in, his 8th 1-0 Whale. Still 1-0 in the third. Kapanen to Sanderson again, stop, but oh, it's Sammy, and it's 2-0 Whalers. Sean Burke denies. Steve Konowalchuk with a sliding save as the Whalers win it 2-0. Sean Burke, 28 saves. It is his 2nd shutout of this season. His first one came on opening night. Sammy Kapanen with both goals for the Whale. The Caps have now lost 3 in a row. It's never too early, you know, to check the standings in the East. The Whalers have moved up to 7th spot now with 56 points as they slip past idle Montreal. Ottawa is gunning for their first playoff appearance, 2 points behind the Habs. Now everybody's scrambling to avoid being the least in the East. 7 teams, just 9 points between them. 7 teams seeking only 2 spots, and the wild race in the East is on.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Who would have thunk it? The balance of power has changed gears. The surprising Whale now in the pole position with the league's worst record in the new year. Hartford has changed gears with key victories over the Rangers and the Caps this weekend. Rumors persist that the Whalers are leaving town. Meanwhile, the Whales seek their first playoff appearance since 1992. The surprising Senators are running on all cylinders, 26 points better than they stood at this point last year. The league's worst power play a year ago now ranks in the top 10. A franchise worst 3.53 goals against average 1 year ago. Ottawa now surrenders under 3 goals a game. Marked improvement.
Right now, it's fun. We're winning, and we're contention for playoff spot.
With all the prestige of 22 Stanley Cup championship banners hanging over their heads, Les Habitants have been stuck in the pit. Montreal is the NHL's worst defensive team, allowing 35 shots against per game. The Habs, with just 4 wins in 18 games against divisional opponents, have 11 of their next 20 games against teams below them in the conference. Do not forget, Sunday night is National Hockey Night here on ESPN.
In the Valley of the Sun, but over on foreign ice, life has been good. Today on the pond in Anaheim, Jim McKenzie had a hat trick in his last game, back to his old tricks in this one, a fighting major and a misconduct for the brawl with Warren Reichel. Ducks 11 games over 500 when Solani and Korea both play. They team up there, team who's 35th. Second period, Coyotes answer. Whiteout Mike Gartner gets it past Guy Hébert. 10th goal in the last 6 games for Gartner, still in the second. Anaheim answers. Carrillo, the wrister, misses, then gets the puck and gets it to Steve Ruchin for the goal. 2-1 Ducks. Third period, Ducks up a goal, looking to ice it. 3-on-1 breaks. Solani returns the favor to Correa for his 28. And the Ducks go on to a 4-2 win. The game-winning goal by Joe Sacco, his second in the last 3 games. He is one of the last 3 original Ducks still looking for their first visit to the playoffs. It was Anaheim's first win over the Coyotes this year after 3 losses. Largest crowd of the year at the Kiel Center, where the Blues are under 500 hosting the Red Wings. Grant Fuhr places them early, stoning Shanahan, but the Red Wings did get on the board. A flurry of shots in front of the net. Martin Lapointe getting a couple of good chances. It looks like Fuhr stops the barrage, but let us have further review. Watch inside the spot. Your eye on the puck. It clearly crosses the line. Thomas Holmstrom gets his 5th of the year. 1-0 Wings. Later in the first, Blues with a 2-man advantage, but the Wings hold them off. Konstantinov and Yzerman knocking shots down. Detroit kills the advantage. Third period, Blues on the power play. Mike Vernon made 1 save but can't stop Turgeon. St. Louis snaps an 0-for-34 power play drought. It ends in a 2-2 tie. Vernon now 16-1-1 against the Blues. The Wings have still only lost once in their last 7. Jim Campbell's 22nd goal leads all rookie scorers. Larry.
Back to the ice for more scores. Toronto and Montreal. It's 5-1 the final. Wendell Clark scored twice. The Maple Leafs beat the Canadiens on Montreal's home ice. Canadiens veteran Mark Recchi not happy. It's amazing how we don't show up in a game like this, said Recchi. Obviously, we don't have enough guys who care about winning. Strong statement. Canucks and Kings, 34 seconds in. Vladimir Siplikov to Jan Bopat, who shoots and scores on Corey Hirsch. And the Kings take a 1-0 lead early in the second. Canucks down 3-zip. Canucks on the rush. Trevor Linden, slap me. Save by Stefan Fiset. The rebound, tried, denied. Martin Jelena can't get it in. Fiset with 18 saves. Third period, Ian LaPerriere sucker punched by Donald Brashear. Look out. LaPerriere, that has suffered a concussion. Brashear given a 5-minute fighting major and a game misconduct as the Kings do win it by a final score of 4-0. Stefan Fiset recording his 9th career shutout. not really tested that much, only 18 saves. The win lifting LA out of the Pacific Division cellar ahead of San Jose.
Centenaries, most famous basketball.
Because the Bruins are basically Oates, defenseman Ray Bourque, goalie Bill Ranford, and 20 guys who play like the extras from the movie Slapshot. The Bruins responded to Oates' cri de coeur by as an alternate captain. Obviously, it's not possible that Oates is right and management is wrong. Get some good subservient centers out there. We don't want them Hall of Famers around. Bruins at Buffalo. Bill Ranford to give away to Matthew Barnaby, who feeds it to Michael Grosek. And it's 1-0 Sabres. The 30th time in 60 games that Boston has fallen behind within the first 10 minutes. Sweeney and Oates, 2-on-1. They bunch up and don't get the shot off, so Oates has to take some blame there. Tied at 1 late in the first. Watch the winger, Sandy Moger, with some pedestrian back-checking. That's a technical term. Allowing the trailer, Dixon Ward, to go in unmolested. Bruins trailed 2-1 after 1. Steve Kasper's not sure what's going on. Started the second. Oates breaks in alone on Dominic Hasek, and he doesn't put the biscuit in the basket. Sabres win 5-1. Buffalo unbeaten in 12, something they last did in 80-81, and the franchise record is 14 in 79-80. Oates' streak of a point in 20 straight games ends, too shy of the team record held by Bronco Horvath, who could come out of retirement at age 66 and be better than some of these victims. Is it me, or does Sharks coach Al Sims look like Laurence Olivier in the movie Marathon Man? Is it safe? No, actually it's not. Sharks and Ning barely skated all day, more of a running brawl. The Granato-Cicerelli thing, far worse than it looked like. It ends with Jason Weimer putting it home. Watch the replay. Granato using his stick like a cutlass. Tony, remember how sick you were and ill and all the rest? Third period tied at 3. Rob Zamaner to Brant Myers, who beats Kelly Rudy like a rented goalie. Dion says, I'm out of here. I thought you meant real Sharks. Lightning win 4-3. Sharks were up 3-0 in this bloody, angry matinee, but the Ning rose for 4 and are back within 2 points of the last playoff spot in the East. And for such a violent afternoon, the ref called just 32 minutes in penalties. Elsewhere, apart from Rich Pilon's goal, his first in 2 years, tying his career high, the Isles got something even rare, 2 power play goals for them. That's 3 in the last 30. First game with 2 of them in nearly a month. Mario Lemieux said for the Pens, this, quote, certainly was a low point of the season.
If you once played quarterback for the San Jose offensive spark, went out and obtained David Oliver. Yes, David Oliver, a cast-off from the waiver wire, who has scored 37 goals in 141 NHL games. And he's what the Rangers love most. He's a former Edmonton Oiler. Speaking of former Edmonton Oilers, Wayne Gretzky wearing the C for Mark Messier, who was out with back spasm. Flyers with a 2-man advantage in the first, but wait a minute, the Rangers had Mike Richter and Eric Lindros hit the post. Then this game was very physical, but Richter was on it all the time. 14 saves in that first. Garth Snow making the glove save on Brian Leach, and then Snow charging Darren Langdon. We're tied at 1 after 1. Same score in the second, Wayne Gretzky. Circles with the puck, and then he gets stripped by Yanni Niemana. John LeClaire will get the puck and feed it to Niemana for the goal. His third of the year. It's 2-1 Philadelphia. Same score late in the third. The puck, watch it, deflects off Svoboda's skate, but Garth Snow makes the save, and then he clears the rebound. Will the next cup come in New York? Keep quiet. Enough already. Flyers win 2-1, beating the Rangers. That winless streak now up to 7 games. Flyers 14-5 in 1-goal games, having won their last 10, and Garth Snow extends his unbeaten streak to 9-0-5. This guy hasn't lost since the 26th of November. Nobody wants to face Edmonton come playoff time. Stars got them Sunday. Dallas fans, they love hockey. Second period scoreless. Nieuwendyk on the doorstep beats Curtis Joseph. Dallas was up 1-0. One of 2 goals for Nieuwendyk. We're tied at 1 later in that period. 15 seconds in that period. Zubov's wrister from the circle beats Cujo up high. 2 goals for Zubov.
It's a giant cello that makes that sound.
Maybe. Do you know about this? I have to take your word for it. Stars continue their rebirth at home. 6-1 the final, by the way. They've won 7 of their last 8 at Reunion Arena. Mike Modano had a hand in 4 of the 6 goals. I know the city of Dallas has Maverick fever at the moment, but don't forget, these Stars own the 3rd best record in the NHL. Flames in St. Louis, Brett Hull flaming up his stick. Look out! Good thing kids weren't around. Blues up 2-1. It's Hull breaking in. The Flames worked. He had 2 goals in this game. He's got 35 on the year. Grant Fuhr finally getting a rest. John Casey had to protect that 3-1 lead, but unfortunately he could not. Robert Reichel beating Casey from the blue line. That's what they call soft. Under 2 minutes left, Steve Chason beats Casey on the wrister. Calgary coming back from a 2-goal deficit, taking advantage of goalie John Casey, who is making just his second start in 28 games in relief of Fuhr. Jim Campbell with a goal. He leads all NHL rookies with 23 tallies. And as you saw, Brett Hull now has 35 goals.
241 Jeff Sluman golf tournament starts.
Outside looking in for the playoffs. Let's go to the first period. No score. Goalies were the difference early. Pavel Bure testing Guy Bear, who gets the best of him. And here we go the other way. Teemu Selanne. The pass to Steve Ruchin. His shot right there. Kirk McLean all over it. Second period, though, we are tied at 1. Paul Kariya, what a sniper. Rips it by Kirk McLean. Kariya scored twice in this game. Late third, we are tied at 2. Mighty Ducks with the extra man off the face. Ruchin to Teemu Selanne for his 36th, and the Ducks win. Both teams now 1 point out of the final playoff spot. Paul Kariya now has scored 10 goals in his last 12 games. On what he means to the Mighty Ducks, Coach Ron Wilson said, "You don't really realize how nice it is to drive a BMW until you get back into a Toyota." He said it. I didn't. I have 2 Toyotas in my driveway. Meanwhile, Senators and Avalanche. Ottawa goalie Damian Rhodes had to leave this game after 2 periods with a leg injury. As for the defending Cup champs, no team has allowed fewer goals in the league than Colorado.
Being a former Dallas Maverick is like being a member of the Soviet Coyote penalty killers who've only been scored on once in their last 19 shorthanded situations. Something to watch for, and we hope you did over on ESPN2. And then you would have seen Chris Osgood take a shot at Keith Tkachuk. No penalty, by the way. Wings down 1-0 on the power play. Brendan Shanahan, what a play while going down to Darren McCarty. Game tied at 1. Normally it's Shanny who does the one-timer like he does there. His 39th. Coyote power play. Igor Korolev robbed by Chris Osgood. Check it out again. Korolev just robbed. Second period. Coyotes down 4-1. Great move. Jeremy Roenick. His 18th by Nicholas Lidstrom. He beat him on the defense. Coyotes 5-on-3. Roenick not so great that time. Same 5-on-3. Roenick, same problem. JR get a new stick. And then the Coyotes show some frustration. Keith Tkachuk, he shot on Kirk Maltby. And will continue to argue and then be thrown down to the ice by the linesman who pick up a 10-minute misconduct. And he could be hearing from Brian Burke. Third period. Red Wings up 4-3. Shanahan the steal. Backhand, forehand. Backhand, forehand. And his 40th goal of the season for Shanny. And the Wings win 5-3. He got a pair. McCarty had a pair. 39 stops from Osgood in a nasty affair. Now, we mentioned the hot Detroit power play against the equally hot Phoenix penalty killers. Well, we should have also checked for the other way around. The Coyotes power play took the collar. 0 for 7. Still to come. For the first time in nearly 2 years. Then consider Boston, with the worst record in the NHL, came in riding a 6-game losing streak, their longest in 30 years. Stop me if you think I'm overhyping this contest. The Bees trip would come to an end one way or the other in Landover. Sergei Gonchar puts it in front to Anson Carter. His second of the season. He'd have his first NHL 2-goal game. Still in the first, Steve Konowalchuk. Nice move to Sylvain Cote for the goal. But was Konowalchuk in the crease? The referee would review it, and it would stand 2-1 Caps. Third period, Bruins trail 3-2. Steve Staios, what a move through the defense, and then through Jim Carey to tie it at 3. Tied at 3. Peter Bondra's shot, though Ranford the glove stop there. John Eves Wash shoots one off the mask of Carey. Then Rick Tocchet a couple of whacks at it. He couldn't score. They go to overtime. Under 10 seconds left on Tuesday night. Remember the Lance hold it in? And Claude Lemieux scores with 4 seconds left in the overtime. Colorado beats Boston there 3-2. Well, now we go back. Under 10 seconds left in this overtime. The Caps able to hold it in. Kelly Miller the shot, but this time Don Sweeney blocks it. And Ranford will take all the help he can get. The Bruins escape a 3-3 tie. So, out of a possible 14 points on the Boston road trip, they got 1. The losing streak is over. The winless streak is not. It's reached 10 on at least getting a tie. Steve Casper, the coach, said something good had to happen to this club. You have to stop the bleeding somehow.
Season, but Fletcher isn't acting like a lame duck as he trades center Doug Gilmour to New Jersey as part of a 5-player deal. Also going to New Jersey, veteran defenseman Dave Ellett. The Leafs get relatively inexpensive young players in return. Forward Steve Sullivan, defenseman Jason Smith. Devils also get the rights to defenseman Alan McCauley, who's currently playing junior hockey in Ottawa. As for Gilmore, he's a veteran center, something the Devils have wanted and needed for years. Toronto's captain and second leading scorer. The Leafs are the worst team in the league right now. This could be the beginning of a major overhaul. One of the young players going to Toronto, New Jersey Steve Sullivan, only 5'9", but excellent of late. He's got 8 goals and 14 assists in 33 games.
I think it's noticeable. It's obvious the way the team had to make a change and do something, and some of us were, I guess, a little more expendable than others. So, again, I wish them the best.
Do you feel that it's always tough to put the yards in the goal?
Well, as long as they want us, I guess we're okay. The day that they don't want you anymore is the day you're in trouble.
And later in SportsCenter, how the acquisition of Gilmore might be the missing ingredient for the New Jersey Devils. Devils and Panthers tied for second in the Atlantic. Florida at home to play San Jose. Midway through the first, Jeff Friesen on a power play, 1-0 San Jose. Kelly Rudy, excellent in net for San Jose. The fantastic stop here on Craig Fisher. So good, we got to show it to you again. This is what we call full extension. Yes, Panthers down 2-1 in the third. Dave Lowry finds David Nemirovsky. Got a goal. We're tied at 2. We go to overtime. Rob Niedermeyer, chance to win it from the slot. No! Rudy makes a save. Then things got dicey. Bernie Nichols cross-checks Ed Jovanovski right in the face. Nichols thrown out of the game. So that meant that Florida had the power play for the rest of the overtime, but they were unable to convert, and the game ends in a 2-2 tie. Florida now 0-4-2 in its last 6. The Panthers' worst skid of the season. 31 saves for San Jose's Kelly Rudy. Mark Fitzpatrick made 38 saves for the Panthers. We better get focused. Pat Verbeek on Brent Sutterbrudder. Brent Sutterbrudder has some blood. You wonder what Mutter Sutterbrudder would think about all that. Second period, scoreless game. Todd Harvey got a goal. You heard the clank, 1-0 in favor of Dallas. And then it was Arturs Urbe with a great save on Bob Probert. Then Tony Amonte with a great chance here. Dallas clinging to that 1-goal lead, and Urbe says, no, you don't. Urbe, his second shutout in 5 games, made 24 saves. Dallas wins at 1-0. 19 road wins for Dallas now. That ties a franchise record. Dallas is now 15 games over 500 for the first time in 14 years. Chicago loses for only the 3rd time in its last 11 games. Avs and the Kings. Second period, 1-0 LA. Stefan Yell.
It'll be a war. Here's
off goalie Stefan Fisset. Tied at 1. Watch it again. Yell's centering attempt redirected by Fisset. And that's not what you want to do. 11 seconds later, Roman Vopat, who was acquired last season from St. Louis in the Wayne Gretzky deal, stuffs it by Craig Billington. It's 2-1 LA. And then Fisset, the pad save on Claude Lemieux. And the Kings go on to win by the score of 3-1. Colorado's 6-game winning streak is over. Fisset, the former Colorado goalie, made 32 saves. Kings win their 3rd in a row. It equals their longest winning streak of the season. Billington is now 1-6 in his career against Los Angeles. Coming up.
Pucks, Blues, Ning. Terry Crisp's Ning undefeated the last 5 games. Ning up 1-0. Damon Langkow shoots. Grant Fuhr at the save, but he can't control it in front. And Langkow scores on his own rebound. His 12th, Lightning up 2-0. Still in the first, Fuhr's blocker glove gets knocked off, and Dino Ciccarelli has a shot, but glove gets in the way. It's an interesting glove save there with no hand in it. What kind of night would Rick Tabaracci have? Well, Mike Peluso gives him a little bit of the business, and then Tabaracci gives Brett Hull the business, stoning him on the breakaway with the Blues down 2-1. Now Pierre Turgeon with the shot. No, Jeff Portnoy. Everybody stoned. Watch the replay and keep your eye on Tabaracci's stick. Now that's a stick save. We've seen a glove save and a stick save. 3rd period, 2 minutes to go. Chris Pronger shot. No, Jeff Portnoy can't get a shot off. Tabaracci with 33 saves as the Lightning win 3-2. Another NHL games on Tuesday. Mark Fitzpatrick, 38 saves for the Panthers. Kelly Rudy had 31 for the Sharks in their 2-2 stalemate. Arturs Urbe gets his 2nd shutout of the season as the
is in, and the winner is the newest New Jersey Devil, Doug Gilmour. That means little to the New Jersey Devils. They're looking for Gilmour to be a lookalike of his 1993 self. 127 points, 2nd in the MVP vote, and 35 points in 21 Toronto playoff games that year. Can Gilmour be the difference in New Jersey getting back to the Stanley Cup Finals? Check it out. There's the newest Devil. on Long Island against the Islanders, but it was the Islanders putting the pressure on early. Derek King walks in. Martin Brodeur with the glove save. Still first, 1-0 Devils. Gilmore gets on the board, beating Steve Thomas, who blasted home 3-0 Jersey after one. 3-1 in the second. Things get a little bit friendly. Ziggy Palffy scores, and then Houston, we have contact. Travis Green and Ziggy. A little bit of love. Close call for New Jersey. Green tries to score, but Brodeur again comes up big. Devils take a 4-3 lead. Then comes the clincher. Dave Ellett for Scott Niedermayer. Down to Gilmore. His first goal as a double. Gilmore gets 4 points in his debut. Brodeur had to make just 18 saves. He leads the league in goals against average. The Devs improved to 7-1-7 in their last 15. Palffy just gets his third goal in his last 13. The Devils have the 5th best record in the NHL. If they beat Buffalo Thursday night, they'll tie for 4th best. Well, round one of this Sports Center is over. Coming again in Ottawa, which is where we go with the Flyers. Wednesday night, Garth Snow in net. Plenty of goals early on. John LeClaire, the first goal of the game, 1-0 beats Ron Tugnutt. 10 seconds later, Sean McEachern beats Snow, 1-1. 1:19 later, Paul Coffey, 2-1 Flyers. Minute and a half later, Senators shorthanded. Steve Duchesne beats Snow, 2-2 after 4 minutes of play. Legion of Doom hooking up. LeClaire finishing, nothing but net. 3-2 Flyers, sends Paul Tugnutt. Later first. Flyers up 4-3. Alexander Daig ties it. 4-4 after one. Second period, 5-4 Senators. Renberg to Peter Svoboda on the tape of Lindros. His 21st goal. We're tied at 5. Now 7-5. Lindros to LeClaire. He has his hat trick. Second hat trick of the season. LeClaire has 40 goals. Flyers win 8-5. A career high 6 points for Lindros. Goal and 5 assists. The Big E's Legion of Doom line gets 15 points in all. Garth Snow wins again. He's now 10-0-5 in his last 15. The Flyers have won 3 in a row. They are rolling. Only the Avalanche have more points. On to Hartford, Hawks, and Whale. Rob Hobart tries to control the deflecting puck. Can't. Look at the save by Sean Burke on Brent Sutter. Here it is again. Sutter picks it up and thinks he has one, and Sean says, you'll get nothing and like it. Third period, Hawks down 2-1, Ethan Moreau. He'll bring the puck up the ice. Nice move past Glenn Featherstone. To his backhand, ties the game at 2. 10th goal of the year for Moreau. We go to overtime. Adam Burt picks up the centering pass, and Chris Terreri. Johnny on the spot, 2-2 in overtime. Bad night of power plays. Hartford 0 of 6 on just 10 shots. The Blackhawks failed to get a shot on 3 power plays. Chris Terreri finished with 32 saves, including 3 in overtime. The tie gives the Whale 57 points. They're tied with Montreal for 7th place in the Eastern Conference. Stu.
Neil Smith on the empty side. Monday, the Phoenix Coyotes were denied a chance at their first 3-game home winning streak of the season. Altogether now, but wait. Half full, anyone? Jeremy Roenick had 2 goals and an assist and a 5-3 loss to the Red Wings, breaking a 5-game scoring drought. Altogether now, yay! Yeah, never mind. Coyotes at Calgary, first period, tied at 1. Flames power play. Roenick takes the feed and breaks in. Jeremy clearing his throat like DJ Cool. His 19th of the year, 2-1 Coyotes. Still first 3-1. Mike Gartner, shot, save, kid. Gartner, 2 for 1, 1 for 2. He has 20 this year, 4-1 Phoenix. Hard-hitting affair. Aaron Gavey slams Oleg Tverdovsky. Nikolai Habibulin, strong. Makes the flurry of saves from point-blank range. He had 30 saves for the game, not just for that little run there. Coyotes win it 5-2. Calgary allowed 16 shorthanded goals this year. That is a league worst. Jeremy Roenick's goal was shorthanded. Craig Janney, 2 goals. He has 10 this year. He also added an assist. Tuesday, Disney boss, Mighty Duck boss, and ESPN boss Michael Eisner predicted a 3-1 Oilers-Ducks game. He was half right. Anaheim did score 3, but the Oilers also scored 3 as they end the Mighty Ducks' 4-game home winning streak. Anaheim's Joe Sacco set up 2 goals, including the game-tying score with 2:46 left. Still ahead, what is
LG youth movement in Toronto? Watch this. Watch referee Steve Walcom. Caps Calle Johansson shoots from the point. The puck hits Walcom. Peter Bondurus centers. Off Rob Zettler's stick and into the net. Credit Dale Hunter with his 10th. Third period, 2-1 Caps. Andrei Nikolishин spins. Sergei Gonchar to Greg Berube, who gets nothing but net. 3-1 Caps. Berube's third. Late in the game, Gonchar gets tangled with Todd Warner, and watch his knee. Ouch. He would leave the game. Cap GM Dave Floor watches another player go down. Caps have lost 266 man games to injury. Caps win 3-1, just one of 6 NHL games. Flyers get 15 points from the Legion of Doom. Leclerc a hat trick.
Devs would make their home debuts against Buffalo. Minute 39 in, first period. John McClain brought down by the boogeyman, Bob Bugner. Penalty shot. McClain moving in on Dominic Hasek, and he scores. That's the way you celebrate the birth of your first child. Second period, scary moment. Darryl Shannon and Randy McKay. McKay in white deflected the puck right up into McKay's face, and he's one of the toughest guys in the league. He'd be taken to the hospital for x-rays. Third period, tied at 1. Dave Ellett couldn't play on the Toronto power play. He can play on the New Jersey power play. His first goal is a Devil. Now 2-on Devs. Bill Guerin and Bobby Halik on the 2-on-1. Halik back to Guerin, who received stitches earlier. That's hockey as he scores his 21st. Bill Guerin does, and the Devils win 4-1. So it's Jersey who puts an end to that Sabres 12-game unbeaten streak. Another big game for the newcomers Gilmore and Ellett. And a great line by the defenseman. He said, quote, "They had a pretty good hockey team before we got here. Jersey's lost 1 of their last 16. Pens and Wings is seen over on ESPN2. Vladimir Konstantinov going for the wraparound. In the first period, just gets it by Ken Reagan. 1-0 Wings. Fifth for Vladimir. Mike Vernon down at the other end. Solid all night. Stopping Frederick Olofsson point blank. 29 stops for Vernon. Sergei Fedorov. His 24th on the power play. 2-1 Detroit. Problems for the Pens. Jaromir Jagr partially collides with Slava Kozlov, re-injuring his groin injury. Jagr would leave the game, never would return. We'll have more in just a bit on Jagr's status. Late in the second, Mike Vernon on Alex Hicks, and Vernon will stop there. Mario and his line held pointless. The Wings a 4-1 winner. A goal and 2 assists for Larionov. Pens have dropped 3 straight, 7 of 8. But Jagr re-injuring the groin injury, that's their biggest loss. Coach Ed Johnston said he hoped his star could return in 2 weeks. But Jagr, who's not a doctor, said, quote, "I think it's going to be longer than that. I don't know. Maybe the playoffs, maybe next year."
Welcome back, Tiger. Back to your home continent after trips to Asia where he won.
Pat Verbeek stopped by a while, but Neil Broughton scores his 5th, 1-0 Dallas. Rough night for Adam Deadmarsh. Nice move, but then tangled up with Andy Moog, and the shot goes wide. Another chance in the power play. Deadmarsh, the big banger, wide. Mike Ricci tips it home, though. His 10th a tied at 1. Second period, Stars pull away. Up a goal on the power play. Darryl Sador's shot blocked, but Mike Modano on the rebound. And Dallas, they get their 20th road win. That sets a franchise record in the Stars, now within only 4 points of Colorado for the top seed in the West. The Avs are winless this season when they allow 4 goals or more. The very talented, high-priced Canucks lost 3 straight. Hosting the Coyotes. Canuck power play. Pavel Bure-Rister. Martin Jelena, his 20th of the year. A sign of things to come. Russ Courtnall dumps in. Jelena stuffs it home. 2-0 Van. More Jelena. Beef, Jurke Lume the shot. Jelena again. Hey, hat trick. And the Canucks had a 4-0 lead. But Jelena still wasn't finished. Would beat Nikolai Hobby-Bulin right there. 4 goals on the night from Martin Jelena. And the Canucks win. Not only did he have 4 goals, also had an assist. The Canucks scoring 6 goals on their first 13 shots. You do the math. That's quite a shooting percentage. Stuart.
The backdrop of the UTEP #4 Utah Hoops game goes like this.
The Bees return to Boston with a 10-game winless streak, and Adam Oates returned, but without his A on the sweater.
Al Oates is on the ice for the first time. Listen to the crowd.
And a great ovation. First period, Bruins up 1-0 on Tampa. Here's Oates controlling the puck. Great centering feed to Raymond Bourque, one-timer. Bruins up 2-0. Second period, Bees up 3-1. Great move, Joseph Stumple. Stumple, what a move, and then the backhander. Bruins up 4-1. Third period, scary moment. David Shaw collides with Boston goalie Bill Ranford. Ranford had to leave the game, and apparently he's okay. Bruins do go on to cruise 6-2. Adam Oates said after the 3 assists and the ovations,
It was a fun night. When was the last time you heard that from a Bruin? The 10-game winless streak is history, and the Bees were fair about who they beat. They put 3 by Rick Tamarachi and 3 by Corey Schwab.
Somebody call you a 11-game absence. Physical game. Robert Zvela bum rushes Jeff Courtnall. Second period, Panthers up 1-0 on the power play. Mellenby with a nice pass in front to Shepard, who puts it home. No rust. His 21st 2-zip Florida. But the Blues would come back. Down 2-1. $1.50 left. Al McGinnis on the point with the pass to Brett Hall, who knocks it in for his 38th. We're tied at 2. We go to overtime. In the extra frame, Zvela to Per Gustafsson to Rob Niedermeyer. Niedermeyer alive. Blasted past Grant Fuhr. Florida wins 3-2. They snap a 6-game winless streak. Elsewhere in the NHL on Thursday, Adam Oates in his first game home since blasting management had 3 assists as
Break up the Kings. They won 4 straight, their best run since March of '93. That same season, a fellow by the name of Barry Melrose coached them to the finals. L.A. had been the only team in the NHL without a 20-goal scorer. No longer, as Eddie Olczyk scored his 20th. Doug Zmolak did return from an irregular heartbeat episode.
A year ago, life
below 500, ordinary teams. Edmonton is the only Canadian club above 500, and the Oilers are just a game above that mark. Habs and Flames in Calgary. Late first, tied at 1. Theo Fleury on the loose puck, puts the rebound past Jocelyn Thibault. 2-1 Calgary. Early second period. Robert Reichel in front of Jermon Titov. Titov's 20th. 3-1 Calgary. Things get physical. Todd Lesko nails Darcy Tucker into the boards. On to the third, still 3-1. Saku Koivu. Good pair of hands there. 3-2, Montreal down, 6:46 left. They go for the tie. Stefan Quintel thinks he has it. However, denied by Rolison. You'll get nothing and like it. Calgary gets 10 shots in each period. The Canadians have allowed more goals than any other team in the league. The Habs remain tied with Hartford for 7th place in the East. Calgary tied with Anaheim for the final playoff spot in the West. Isles and Senators. Just over a minute into the game, Alexei Yashin behind the net. Banks it off the butt of Tommy Salo. You can't teach that. 1-0 Senators. Sean Van Allen. Treated 200 kids at the game tonight. Meanwhile, Alexander Daig. 2 Van Allen, who treated those kids in the stands. Nothing but net. 2-0 Sens in the first. The kids love it. And Derek King with the shot in front. Ron Tugnut makes the skate save. Sens win 4-1 after the game. Tugnut squishing those pads, and they measure those after the game now. Alexei Yashin now has 6 goals and 13 assists in his last 12 games. The Sens still in the playoff hunt. Rick Bowness now 6-9-1 since taking over the Islander coaching duties. Upon further in the league, the Sharks. Jeff Sanderson
Center ice, they attack with Didick.
tees it high and lets it fly. Gungula. It's a goal, second of the night, 31st of the year. Still 2-1 in the second. Wales on the attack. Watch Kevin Dineen. Left part of your screen, wide open net, and he pulls it. That would come back to hurt the Whale, Tony Granato. 2-on-1.
And the Sharks score.
Steven Gula with the power play. Gula tied at 2 in the third. Still tied, just over 2 minutes to play. Look at that angle Jeff Friesen had. Here it is again, and actually it's Kevin Dineen's reaction from the impossible angle shot. After the game, Whaler goalie Jason Muzzatti said Jeff Friesen, who scored that bad angle goal, quote, won't make that shot in another million years. It's the first Shark win in 4 games. Jeff Sanderson's 2 Whaler goals were his first in 9. The Whale just 6-12-2 against a mediocre Western Conference. Ducks and Capitals, both teams missing scoring chances early. Jason Allison, glove saved by Guy Hebert, actually off the crossbar. Then Jim Carey stopping Brian Bellows. Tipped away by Brendan Witt. Third period tied at 1, Ducks power play. Teemu Solani, nothing but net. 200th career goal, 37 of the year, 2-1 Ducks. 1 minute later, Carey blocks the shot from center ice, but Sean Pronger gets the loose puck. Centering pass right on the tape of Warren Reichel. His 10th. Ducks add an empty netter. They win. Duck coach Ron Wilson said after this one, quote, when you get into the third period, this is Duck hockey. Solani, Reichel, and Marinov score in that third as Anaheim rallies for the 4th straight time in the third period. The Ducks still 4 games under 500, but in the playoff picture in the West. NHL injury update, Jaromir Jagr, who re-injured his groin in Detroit on Thursday night after missing 3 games, could now miss up to 3 weeks. He played just over a period in Detroit when he collided with Vladimir Konstantinov. Jágr's right foot is shaped differently from his left, and he says ill-fitting skates lead to his groin problems. Thursday, he was wearing Mario Lemieux's skates. And San Jose Sharks center Bernie Nicholls will also miss games, not because of a bad groin, but because of that cross-check to the grill of Ed Jovanovski. During the Tuesday game between the clubs, Nicholls will be suspended 2 games. He missed the night games in Hartford. He also must pay a $1,000 fine.
Wayne Sports Center continues.
This is our club. Let's go out. It's up to us to get it done, and I think that'll help the club.
The Caps get young centers Jason Allison and Anson Carter, starting goalie Jim Carey, a 3rd-rounder in the 97 draft, and a 2nd-rounder in 98 if the Caps re-sign Tocchet, who's a free agent in May. Not only do the Caps get an Oates, who has 70 points in 63 games, and power forward Tocchet, but the Flyers, Rangers, and Panthers don't. The Bruins tried to steal one before the deal. Oates and Ranford playing in the afternoon against the Flyers. 3rd period, Bruins were down 3-0. Now within 3-2, Ted Donato pokes it to Sheldon Kennedy. He's off to the races. The shorthanded goal past Hextall ties the game at 3. The Flyers answer back, forcing the turnover. Trent Klatt. The shorthanded goal, his first career hat trick, 20th goal of the year. Flyers lead this one 5-3. Bruins do not die. Less than 30 seconds left, down 5-4. Ray Bourque beats Hextall from the blue line to tie it at 5. The Bruins get 2 goals in the last 77 seconds to get the tie. Oates finished with 2 assists in his Bruin finale. Ranford stopped only 24 of the 29 Flyer shots. Tocchet sat out with a bad ankle. Despite the tie, the Flyers have only lost once in their last 9. The Legion of Doom, that had 11 points in its last win, held to just 2 in this one. 2 words you haven't heard all season together. Slumping Avalanche. Trying to stop a 2-game slide. Joe Sakic getting nailed by Kevin Miller. Into the 3rd period, scoreless. Chris Chelios off after taking out Adam Deadmarsh. Deadmarsh beats Jeff Hackett, and the Lanch goes up 1-0. Then just 3 minutes later, Claude Lemieux. Watch the great move around Eric Daze. Scores on the brutal angle. Colorado up 2-0. They hang on to win it 2-1. The Lanch still hasn't lost more than 2 in a row all season, thanks to a league-leading penalty-killing unit that's allowed the Hawks just 2 shots in 3 power plays. Of that first-ever penalty shot, Deadmarsh said, "I didn't know what I was doing. I started skating with the puck and hoped for the best." The Avalanche is a league-best 86 points.
Bob and I just getting started. Who could have thunk it?
Dyke back in the saddle for the first time since being traded to Big D. First 4 minutes of the game, Flames on a power play. Guy Carbonneau shoots. Dwayne Rollison saves it, deflects it out. Corey Stillman takes the puck back up ice, passes it to Jerome Iginla. On the breakaway, he beats Herbe. You remember, Nieuwendyk was traded for Iginla. Flames up 1-0. Second period tied at 1. Iginla picks up the puck in the slot and scores again. 21st of the season, he leads all rookie scorers with 47 points. Flames singe the Stars 4-1. Calgary's won 7 of its last 8 at home, handing the Stars the first loss in the last 5. Dallas now betwixt and between last year's Western finalists. They're 6 points up on Detroit, 6 down to the Avalanche. Rangers still wandering around without their captain. Messier's messed up back still day-to-day and not Saturday in Motown. Less than 2 minutes in, Brendan Shanahan's shot stopped by Richter, but Darren McCarty knocks home the rebound. Detroit leads this one 1-0. Early second period, it's Shanny's turn. Off the feed from McCarty. He wrists it past Richter. His 41st, Wings up 2-0. They shut out the punchless Rangers 3-0 afterward. Ranger boss Colin Campbell said, "We're making goalies look pretty good." Only 21 shots on Chris Osgood. He gets his 6th shutout of the season. Rangers winless in their last 8, and they've only scored 10 goals in that time. The revived Red Wings now unbeaten in their last 7. They're 15-4-3 against the East. Coming up on Chris Webber's 24th birthday, would his old team bake him a cake too?
Bert, if you have a kid, you know. You just know. Hey, watch Darius Kasparaitis. Second period, Devils up 2-0. Kasparaitis pinch at the blue line. That makes a 2-on-1. Doug Gilmour to Brian Ralston. Ralston gives it back. Gilmour dunked it. 3rd goal in 3 games as a Devil for Gilmour. Later in the second, 4-0 Devils. Bill Guerin blasts a shot. Puck deflects off Kasparaitis, and then Guerin's 22nd. Penguins have lost 8 of 9. Devils win at 6-3. McLean scores 2 more goals. So little John Carter now has 3 goals, and he's only 2 days old. The Devils have lost just 1 game in the last 17. Buffalo at Ottawa. First period. Senators on the attack. Sean McKecker, nice individual effort, gets around Darryl Shannon, but Dominic Hasek says, "Not here, not now." He had 29 saves. On to the second, game scoreless. Mike Pekka gets loose on the breakaway. Ron Tugnutt has absolutely no shot. Pekka's 15th, Sabres up 1-0. 6 minutes later, Donald Audette in all alone. I don't know if he's a Chuck D fan, but here the drummer getting wicked. Audette's 22nd Sabres going to win it 3-1. Ron Tugnan had a rough night. He allowed 3 goals and just 16 shots. Hasek, as I said, 29 shots. He only allowed 1. Ron, Dominic 1. Tough guy. Ty Domi's goal at 14:42 of the third was the game winner as the Maple Leafs nipped San Jose 3-2. Elsewhere, Scott Thornton scored 2 goals, including the game winner as the Habs clipped Edmonton 5-4. Mark Recchi added his 30th of the year.
Saturday was Chris Webber into the boards. Lindsay gets 2 for charging and a kind word or 2 from his pal Dino. Later on, Cicerelli gets some revenge. Remember Lindsay? Whacks him in the head and gets away with it. No penalty. Third period, still 1-0 Lightning. Cicerelli, the deflection that beats Mark Fitzpatrick. 26th of the year for Dino. He gets the last laugh. Lightning wins it 2-0. Tabaracci, 24 stops. His 4th shutout of the season. Lightning unbeaten in their last 7 at the Ice Palace. The win gets them even with Hartford and Montreal for the 7th and 8th playoff spots. Florida stays 4th in the East, although they've won just 1 of their last 5. The last time the Kings won 4 in a row, they played for the Stanley Cup. 4 straight W's going into Vancouver. Russ Courtnall checked into the boards by Matthias Norrstrom. Checked is a kind word. Second period, 2-0 Kings. Courtnall in the clear gets stripped by Jeff Chevalier, who shoots and beats Kirk McLean. Chevalier's 4th, 3-0 L.A. Third period, Pavel Bure robbed by Stefan Fiset. 35 saves for his 4th shutout of the season. Kings win at 3-0. If this score looks vaguely familiar, just a week ago, Kings shut them out 4-0. Fiset, again, with 35 saves. The Kings only take 22, but get 3 of them past Kirk McLean. He was there in uniform, but not in goal. Tocchet not dressing because of a sore ankle. Tommy Salo was strong, stoning Andre Nikolushin. And then Isles up 1-0 in the second. Pretty pass to Claude Lapointe. And looking for a couple of Lapointes. His 8th. That would be all that Salo would need. He was a rock. Great save on Sylvain Cote. It's still 2-0. Caps the lowest scoring team in the NHL. Here's why. The power play, Kalle Johansson at the point. No teammates to screen. And some fancy footwork there from our graphics. And the Caps another opportunity. Johansson again in the slot, goes wide. Salo is going to pounce on it as it rolls dangerously close to the net, and then it didn't matter. Salo was unbeatable. 2-0 the final. Washington has been blank 6 times this year. Salo has done the honors 3 times. All 3 have been by 2-0 scores. 17 of his 39 saves arrived in the third period. To the Mall for the Whale and Flyer. Sean Burke stopping Jean Leclerc's redirection, but Eric Lindros is there for the rebound. 1-0 Philly, and it's a power play goal. Later in the first, Jeff O'Neill, Keith Primo beats Garth Snow. I'd like to see it again because I think Primo's skate was in the crease, and it was no goal. I didn't rat on him. Second period, Kelly Chase cross-checks Snow and then starts punching him.
Now that is a penalty. We've talked about that.
Snow thinks it's funny.
But I think, yeah,
don't you?
Be some sort of a swing for
Third
them.
period, watch Paul Coffey's stick get caught in Primo's skate. Every time Coffey touched the puck, he was booed. The former Whaler didn't realize that he had his stick in Primo's skate. Primo left with a knee sprain. The Whale leave losers again, 5-2 the final. Another injury note. Lindros left the game, not with a pulled groin, this time with a Charlie horse. Snow is now unbeaten in 16 games, going 11-0-5 over that span. The Atlantic leading Flyers are 8 points ahead of the second-place Devils.
It had never happened, not in the days of the Allisons, not during the night, unbeaten in 7, but you might raise an eyebrow about the 4-game unbeaten skein of the Anaheim Ducks. A streak, by the way, that's a record for any team named after a movie in a marketing ploy. At Detroit, tensions high in the scoreless second. The usually mild-mannered Steve Yzerman irate at a ref and gets a misconduct. Still scoreless into the third. Fedorov, Kirk Maltby puts the biscuit in the basket. It's 1-0 Wings later in the third. Ted Drury's shot looks like it deflected off Kevin Todd's stick and over Mike Vernon's shoulder. 1-1 game. Credit Drury with his 6th goal. Watch that. Nice. They're not making the sticks the way they used to. Almost disastrous was Paul Correa on the breakaway. Vernon and half a stick. He stops Correa. Can't put the shot on net. The game ends in the tie at 1. Detroit 9-1-4 all-time versus Anaheim. Detroit stays unbeaten in 8. Anaheim unbeaten in 5. The Ducks started play tied with Chicago for 8th in the West. Hawks were in Phoenix. It's the skills challenge between Tony Amonte, who is tough, and the Pillsbury Doughboy, who is soft. Skating, Hawks are shorthanded. Amonte's wrist shot stopped. Alexei Zhamnov beats Abidullah Nakareta goalie. More skating. You got to give it to Amante. Skates in like this. Look at him move. And then Deeks Habibulin stops on a dime, scores. Meanwhile, skating for the Doughboy. That would be officially a Doughboy. Hitting. Tony Amante drills Bob Corkum if you got him. And finally, no lateral movement at all.
Pop him.
He's nailed. The Red Baron levels him.
Yeah.
He's gone. In fact, he's deflating now, and he's sprayed Bill Murray with all that white, creamy middle. Jeff Hackett, 38 saves for his 6th shutout. So now the standings in the West. Chicago vaults to 7th overall with 61 points. Phoenix and Anaheim have 60 each, but Phoenix has more wins. So Anaheim ties and moves down.
Bar Saturday night. At worst, each might have to pay $500 and spend 90 days in the Civic penalty box. Here we go to the game where Patrick Roy against the Canucks. He wasn't charitable either. First period, 1-0 the Avalanche. Lemieux, Forsberg, Rister, goal! Forsberg's 14th. The Avalanche up 2-0. Less than 10 seconds to the first. Same score. Linden skating all the way down the ice. Roy in goal. Roy getting beaten in goal. Linden 7th. Canucks down 2-1. Second period. Watch Roy make the stop. Taken in the turnaround shot off the back of his leg. That's a stuff. Still second. More Roy. Brashear's shot stopped and the diving save on the rebound. He smothers it up. 32 saves for him. Third period. Great Avalanche combination coming. Claude Lemieux looking for Forsberg. Found him because they're teammates. They know each other. Goal, second of the night, and Colorado's a winner 5-1. The Canucks outshot Colorado 33-23, but only got that one shot past Roy. Colorado's now won 8 of its last 10 games and 4 straight versus Vancouver this season by a total margin 24-5.
14 days to the trading deadline, and the New York Rangers are on a season-high 8-game winless streak. Call in the posse. Ranger team president Neil Smith met with assistant GM Larry Plow, minor league coach George Burnett, chief North American junior scout Martin Madden, pro scout Kevin McDonald, the Zamboni driver, the usher in section 118, the old dude who pops garden popcorn. Well, maybe not the last 3. But anything to help New York snap out of it. Hosting San Jose, Mark Messier was ticked, real ticked. Yeah, I got something for you, kid. He drew a high-stick penalty. First period, he got his revenge. Messier's 33rd of the year. We're tied at 2. Scary moment for San Jose. Bob Airy crashes hard into the boards. Airy would go to the hospital in a neck brace for x-rays. Second period, 3-2 Rangers. Ulf Samuelsson already had 1 goal. Ulfie blew up. First 2-goal game in 4.5 years.